What's going on, everybody? Johnny Fox here for NHB News. I'm here with Sargon of Akkad and Charming Man 93, the two biggest cucking shitlords in the fucking world, according to Verlo and his boyfriend gang. I imagine they're all probably having a circle jerk right now, and after this is done, I might go join them.
I'll have you know that I am not trying to stop you poisoning the well, Johnny. Stop it, Johnny. You're poisoning the well.
Sargon, did you see that exchange that me and him had at 5 o'clock in the morning?
I actually didn't. What happened?
Basically, he got fucking pissed at saying that I basically was kissing your ass to get somewhere with it, and he says, "Well, I'd probably just expose you on my show." Then I said, "Look, boy, I'm not listening to this bullshit. I'm a grown fucking man, and I can talk to whoever the fuck I want, and you're not going to tell me who the fuck I'm going to talk to. So if you want to get pissed off, write another article."
Does he think you're his fucking wife or something?
Well, if he does, he's been beating me relentlessly.
Well, you could write an article called "Battered Wife Syndrome, Gamergate."
That's true. That's true.
You know how V had that bird that he called Gawker? I think he needs to get a chicken named fucking Barlow.
That birdie.
He'd be like just pecking the ground and shit, digging for worms.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what we're coming on to talk about for, really.
I don't even know, but it seems like we might have to carry the show since your start is so fucked up.
I don't even know what there is to say. I mean, these guys just they don't seem to understand that they're the problem, So, it's and the thing is, I mean, why? If you look at like their little site Manamunga, whatever it is. Right?
Yeah.
The last time. In fact, it's June, the last time they did anything that contradicted a social justice warrior. 7 ways to check that pesky privilege. Back on the 7th of June was the last time they did anything to do with an SJW. Then it's all fucking like, it's Steam, internet celebrities, a game, and then it's Gamergate people. And it's just like, for fuck's sake. You're not even fighting the SJWs anymore.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that was the whole reason I brought him on the show, is to figure out what the fuck the problem was, because this is the thing I don't understand the connection between Sargon of Akkad is a big YouTuber, he's friends with V and these different people, and somehow they can silence a hashtag as if they had like a hashtag Gamergate blocker. Like, I think he's going after Randy Harper. That's who he should be going after, because she's the one that actually does have the power to censor people. I mean,
the people going to the UN directly asking for it might be the people you want to be concerned with, but no. It's me. I'm the one doing it.
The mind reels. The mind reels. I don't understand that logic, and I don't think I can. I don't think I should, because every time I try...
You're mistaking it for logic.
Let me clear up one thing right now, since everybody thinks I pretty much gave Sargon a reach around to get him on here.
Oh, listen. So dreamy.
It was so dreamy.
I'm happy to accept a reach around. Go on.
Give me 200,000 subscribers, I probably would.
Hey, Sargon's only got 100,000.
Well, the student has to pass the master at some point. But yeah, I mean, like, all right, his logic was basically, I did an interview with him to get your attention, which makes no fucking sense, because I also have what's his name? John Halpin's going to be on the show later, right? Not today.
If you want to get my attention, the last thing you should do is interview someone from Gamergate Revolt. That's literally going to make me close the browser. So, yeah, that's not going to help.
Well, I mean, my logic was, all right, this show is about pretty much calling out idiots and, social justice warriors and stuff like that, right? And reporting the Gamergate news stuff that I see on KIA or wherever the fuck, right? So I was like, okay, Sargon is getting a lot of flack from this guy. I want to know why, because every time he goes into a stream, it's just a shit show of, check your ethics, lower your tone, whatever. I'm like, you know what? He's not going to do that to me. So I'm, and I've had limited exchanges with him before, but I was like, I want to get this guy on here, and he needs to explain to me and try to convince me of how one guy can censor everybody else with that GG auto blocker, you know. And
yeah. Well, do you know what's, again, sorry to everyone, my voice is fucked. I've been really ill the past couple of days. I can barely fucking talk.
Then allow me to be your voice, Sargon.
Well, do you know what really pisses me off about it, right? Is that all I ever said was that I personally am going to focus on ethics. Because when I'm talking to, like, someone outside of Gamergate, or, like, when I'm talking to someone who doesn't know about any of this, it's impossible to explain social justice warriors to them. You know, they just can't fathom it. It's too much. And the thing is, it's impossible to get past someone's disbelief that any group of people would be so brazenly dishonest and just such unbelievably bad people that there's no point even trying to persuade them. They're not going to believe you, right? Now, I think that's perfectly reasonable. And basically what this means is that the only way that I can really approach people outside of this is by saying, look, instead of saying, hey, these people think wrong, that causes them to act wrong, blah, 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 it's a lot easier and a lot more consistent if you say, hey, look, journalist A has been promoting his buddy, you know, developer B, and they live together or they've been sleeping together. Just the ethical violations, the journalistic ethical violations, it's something that everyone can understand. You know, you don't fucking need to explain what a social justice warrior is. You don't need to do anything. You know, and you know, I don't give a fuck if people disagree with my approach. I really don't care. That's your choice. Go and disagree. Go and do whatever you want, but that's what I'm going to do. And I've got no power to stop you. You've got no power to stop me. So I find it really bizarre that people from Gamergate Revolt have, like, taken this as if it's some sort of order. You know, as if I'm, like, the leader of Gamergate. And I'm thinking, wow, when did they make themselves my bitches? You know, when did it come to the point where they had to revolt against me? You know, I don't remember taking the oaths of fealty, but I wish I'd been paying attention. You know, I probably would have used them more often.
Well, it's just nature, isn't it? The betas are subservient to the alphas, and the alphas are subservient to their mates. That's how it works.
But yeah, so
that was, like, a joke, by the way. Completely bombed, but never mind.
So if you're looking like John Kelly in the chat, and he's just, oh my god, oh, you're trying to shame us, trying to do this, oh, fuck off, John. Cry those crocodile tears, buddy. You know, why don't you just weep for me, mate? You know, salty.
Sargon, there's something that, this is coming from an American, a dirty colonist, so you can take it with what validity you want based on that, but people just want something to bitch about. I mean, it's just, that's what they do. Sargon, you know, Sargon is not playing to my fiddle, so let's all just, you know, group up and make an article. See, here's what I was saying earlier about the whole, if I was gonna, you know, Verilo's trying to say that basically I did an interview with him to get to you. I'm like, okay, so basically instead of me taking a direct flight from Richmond, Virginia to fucking Scotland or wherever you're from, I went from Richmond, Virginia.
Swindon.
I'm not from Swindon, I just happen to live there. But yeah,
I'm saying, that's the method that I used, apparently, according to him, was like me taking a direct flight from Richmond to fucking North Korea, Moscow, then I went like asshole to elbow, because if I wanted to go get your attention, I'd say, Sargon, do you want to be on my show so we could talk about something? Like I did here.
And what did I say?
Why would I spend the time to read 5 fucking articles twice so I could I read all the articles, where every single word. I looked at every citation he had, and it was bullshit. And I read it all, and then I just brought him on and did the redneck dad thing of, yeah, I agree with you, blah, blah, blah. Because if you disagree with them, it's going to be a 2-hour stream of you're unethical, blah, 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 and I'm going to have, my head will explode. So, I mean, why am I going to go to the enemy to get the guy I want? That's stupid as hell.
Farrello has an inflated ego because of all the drama he's been creating and getting all the attention. So that's why he thinks you need him in order to get to Sargon, when really, you just ask Sargon and he will either say yes or no.
How did you think that I got Horror Movie Review Guy, or that I'm getting Sean Halpin to be on here to talk about Nicole Arbor censoring his videos? Or I didn't go to Nicole Arbor and say, hey Nicole, I want you on my show so I can talk to you so I can get to Sean Halpin. No, I went to Sean, hey look, That's fucked up what happened. Do you want to be on my show? He said yes. Okay, bam, done. I don't have to fucking fly to North Korea and listen to a bunch of bullshit from Verilo. It just irritates the shit out of me when it's automatically, you talk to me so you get to Sargon. What the fuck, man? Are you serious? Oh my god.
Man, all you did is ask me if I wanted to come on your show, and I said yes. I go on loads of people's shows, man. I go on people with fucking small channel shows. I go on like Insensitive Bastard and, all those sort of people. I don't care, man. I'm not bothered about the fucking number of people. I'm bothered about how much of a dick the person is. And if the person's a complete twat, why would I bother? Why would I waste my fucking time?
John Kelly's going full Macintosh as usual.
Yeah, get him on. I'm happy to hear what he wants to say.
He asked me if I had any honesty, I'd bring him on. It's like, this isn't my
You
show.
know what?
I don't make the rules.
Sargon has spoken. He is the guest of honor today, and he wants John Kelly on here. So let's get the crocodile tears flowing and bring the asshole on here.
Go for it, man. I can only, like I said, I can only stay for about half an hour because of my fucking throat, I reckon. But I'll stay as long as I can.
So you really want John Kelly on here?
Yeah, man. Because the thing is, right, I don't even have that much of a problem with John Kelly. It's more the fact that he's just like continually filleting Varilo, and Varilo has got this insane hate boner for everyone. And anyone, I mean, Varilo's had this problem like with the Angry Joe community, which he years, going on like ages before Gamergate, and I spoke to the guy from the Angry Joe forums, and he was like, "Oh fucking hell, don't get involved with Varilo." And I was like, I don't even know who he is. Well, now I understand why he was going on about it, fucking. But yeah, send the invite. I'm interested to hear.
I gotta get him to follow back for him to even get a DM. So I just followed him so he could. Yeah, okay, I got him now. Let's get this link to him so I can hear a bunch of crybaby bullshit for the next hour.
Have you got your glass ready, Sargon, for the salty tears?
No, come on.
Now he has his glass ready to put the iron brew in there.
I said John Kelly is not the worst of them, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt, I guess.
Oh, how's Daniel, by the way?
Oh, he's really good, man. He's currently learning how to stand.
Can he talk yet, or is it too
No. Kelly will be here in a second.
He's only 7.5 months. So he can't actually talk yet, but he's just learning that he can hold on to people's fingers and pull himself up.
That's pretty cool. That.
Oh, it's awesome. I'll put a photo on Twitter.
All right, so we just gotta wait for the thing to happen. Apparently, we're gonna have a damn tag team battle royal in this shit. Apparently.
No. I'll just talk to John. It's all right. I'm sure that he's not an unreasonable fool.
I guess he wants to talk to both of us, considering I made the video that sparked all this off.
Okay, well, if it's alright, I'll talk to him first because I can't stick around forever.
Elders first.
More the people who are fucking dying of old age first.
Oh, hello, John.
Alright, he's in here.
Okay, firstly, Johnny.
Sargon wanted to talk first.
Yeah,
no,
talk to me first.
Because you agreed to an interview with me and you welched, John.
Okay, no.
What the hell is welshing?
No. You agreed.
What the hell is welshing? I'm an American. What the hell are you talking about?
We're British, we don't get it.
You agreed to interview me. Instead, you decided to say, I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to invite 2 people on just for the fun of it. And I'm not even going to tell you. In fact, I'm going to block you on Twitter. Yes, this happened, and I have evidence of this.
Fine by me.
Well, if that's fine by you, that is completely dishonest and disgusting. The least you could have done was inform me ahead of time. If you did, I would have been like, okay, it's a dick move, but you know what? At least he told me ahead of time.
Check my ethics.
You don't have any.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Apparently I don't, since ethics are one of those things that are subjective according to your butt buddy.
I would say they're more relative than subjective. They're relative to the field that you're working in. For instance, if you're giving interviews, I would say there's a certain ethical decorum that you should abide by. If you don't, well then, I guess that goes to show how low standard of ethics you have.
Kelly, why the hell would I ever care about your opinion? All you do is pretty much parrot whatever the fuck Barlow says.
That is untrue completely. Actually,
he's so dreamy.
On 3 different issues. As far as me and my little affair of Verilo, that was actually did find that funny. I do apologize for that because I can't take a joke. Unlike Sargon, who can't even give a joke.
Really?
Seriously,
Can I
the
not?
Hitler downfall video. Like, right.
It was good, oh man.
Barlow was 3 times in that video. You fucking
what?
suck, Sargon.
Mate,
You.
I don't care what your opinion is. That's the thing.
I obviously don't care for opinions either. Like, for instance, this cultural libertarian thing you signed on board for, you don't follow any of the maxims. None of them.
Oh, do I not?
No, let's go over them.
Go
First
ahead.
maxim being
This
free
is the facts,
expression.
people.
You in the past advocated for David Cameron's proposal to eliminate extremism. That goes directly against free expression.
No, I didn't advocate for it.
You said, and I made sure to make sure it wasn't devil's advocate, because in the video you said, you progressives validate this concern, and then you go on to say, and the thing is, David Cameron isn't even wrong. And you go on to expand that you'd like to see progressive speech censored, essentially.
Look, he can be wrong. He can be.
No, you said so in the
wrong.
video. Do you want me to give you a link
Yeah,
to
no,
it?
no, shut up and let me finish what I'm
Go
saying,
ahead.
John. Oh, right, sorry. Do you want to carry on talking as if you know what I'm
All right,
about to
I'll be a
say?
sport. Go ahead.
No, you carry on, John. You carry on.
All right, in that case. In addition to that, you've also actively
No,
discouraged
John,
other
don't
people.
actually carry on, you moron. Look, John, right, he doesn't have to be wrong for me to not agree. He could be right about something.
You agreed with David Cameron is your problem.
Yes, but that doesn't mean... No.
Yes, it does. You're a
as
hypocrite,
you,
Sargon. You don't agree with free expression.
as you just said, John, would you stop cherry picking and sounding so desperate, right? As you just
not
said,
cherry picking. It's using your own
of
words.
course you are. Of course you are. I literally just made a video supporting Bahar Mustafa's right to speak on Twitter. You are absolutely cherry picking, you fucking cretin. All right.
Oh, I know I'm aware of that. I'm aware you did a 180 because of political convenience. Kind of like you do a lot of 180s for political convenience.
David Cameron wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. I don't agree with what he's doing, but that does mean technically he's wrong. Do you understand the nuance there?
Okay, that's fair enough. I'll give you
You
that.
don't. Okay, fine. Okay,
But,
good on you.
moving on, but I still
No,
say...
hang on. No, stop. You called me a hypocrite. So what do you need to do now?
Because you still are a hypocrite,
No.
No. I could accept that, but, you know, that's a matter of message. That's a matter of...
No. What you?
Kelly, shut the hell up and let Sargon talk. You need to start taking turns.
All right.
What are you calling me a hypocrite on now, then? Since that one was wrong and you were incorrect, you accept that you were incorrect.
Okay, here's a question.
No,
if you're someone
tell
who
me
believes
that
in...
you accept you were incorrect,
I'm
John.
not playing by your rules. Get over it.
No, John, you can't accept when you're fucking wrong. You just
I'm
admitted.
Sargon. I am
You
a
can't
king of the
admit it.
internet because I have a British voice, and I come
Fucking
from Northern England.
idiot. Honestly, man, what is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
Mate, if
Like,
I was
seriously,
just,
why
if
have
I
a
actually
owner-
just agreed that I was wrong, I would say, you know what, that was my fault, I was wrong. Why can't you do that?
I did. I said, you know what? I misinterpreted that. That's fair enough.
Say, I'm sorry, I was wrong.
Never apologize to social justice warrior.
What?
Oh my God.
Kelly,
This
do you
is you.
even know what that is?
Everybody, pipe
social
down for a
justice
second.
warrior.
Hold on.
Look in the mirror.
Everybody shut up for a second.
He
Look,
yields
Kelly,
left-wing
let me ask you
rhetoric.
something. Kelly,
Oh,
let me ask you
now,
something.
now I'm a dirty leftist, am I, John? Well, I tell you what, I am a leftist, John.
Yes, you are a leftist, and you're
I
also
am,
a
absolutely.
SJW.
Hey, so am I.
Absolutely. But you know what I don't do to you, John? I don't call you a dirty rightist, do I?
Yes, you call me an autist. You
No,
call
I
me a
don't.
faggot. You call me
No,
a
that's
retard.
not a political
you are the
position, you autist.
Ha ha ha! This is not public shaming. Violating
That's-
Maxim 2
No,
right
that's
in the
just
start
an
stream.
insult because you're an idiot, you fucking moron, right?
You can't publicly
I'm
shame.
not-
It's against your
I'm
rules.
not criticizing your political position. Your
It doesn't
political
matter.
position is
You're
irrelevant to
violating
me.
your own principles.
No, I'm
Maxim
not.
2 of Cultural Libertarian says that you have to resist public shaming.
Did I write that article just out of
It
interest?
doesn't matter that you didn't write the article.
Of
You
course it
endorsed
does.
it. You endorsed it, and you subscribe to
Yeah,
Cultural
but
Libertarian.
can I
And that
endorse
is
some parts
contrary
and not others, John?
to libertarianism.
Can I endorse some parts and not others?
Yes, but you have to specify that. You can say, I agree
Well,
with some...
can I specify that?
So you disagree with...
Are you going to give me
Olum-
the opportunity to specify?
Okay, so you disagree with Lumbakari on that
No,
one.
answer my question. Are you going to give me the opportunity to specify?
Go ahead.
I think that the term public shaming is going to be misused by you.
This is the problem when you have a subjective notion as opposed to an objective one.
Yeah,
If you
that's
have one
kind of what I'm actually going at you for. You think me calling you an idiot is public shaming. That's not public shaming. That's an observation.
Okay, well, for the sake of agreed upon definitions, what do you say is public shaming?
Public shaming is what happened to Erin Pitsey in the 70s.
Yeah, it's
No,
about
I
someone
need-
hasn't done anything wrong, and yet there is usually a group of people whose principles it violates, whatever they've done, say the Batgirl cover, all that sort of stuff that the social justice warriors actually do. And then they just go on at people who've done nothing wrong. I'm not saying you've done anything wrong. I'm saying you're an idiot.
Why you call me an idiot? That's the question I have.
Because you fucking are! That's why I say it!
That. Otherwise, it's just public shaming. It's kind of like what Sargon said on the previous stream with Blackface.
Look, Kelly.
We've just defined public shaming, and we've just agreed that I'm not public shaming you. I'm just calling you an idiot. It's an insult, John.
Okay, insults are a form of public shaming, though. That's the problem with this. I would say that if you're going to define public shaming, it would have to be...
Not according to the definition we've just agreed on.
No, I didn't agree to it.
Oh, sorry. Okay, go on. What's your definition?
Okay.
What's your definition?
What's my definition? That's the problem with this. Like I said, it's a subjective terminology, so me making a definition for it when Lumicore doesn't actually
just
specify
Just tell us what your definition is. You know what mine is.
All right.
And what I'm doing to you doesn't violate my definition, so what's yours?
My definition would be either one of two things. Either any attempt to destroy someone's reputation, which is a bit broad, or the less broad version would be to apply an inaccurate criticism upon other people, such as calling someone an idiot when they have no basis for it.
Okay, neither of those are public shaming, and calling someone an idiot doesn't fall into either of those categories.
You see the problem with subjective standards, then. We don't have agreed upon definitions.
Yes, but your subjective standard doesn't accurately represent what you're trying to accurately represent.
No, that's not true at all. I think you're just being obtuse.
No, that's exactly true, and everyone listening will be like, John, why don't you just shut up?
I don't go for ad populum arguments, and neither should you.
I'm not going for an ad populum argument.
Oh, everyone in this chat, that's an ad populum argument. By trying to consensus crack, you're making an ad populum argument. I'm not saying it's right because everyone will be saying it. I'm saying it's right because it's correct, John, all right? I'm just trying to help you understand. You can't just use the chat's public opinion as reason why you're correct.
Right. Look, do you not think that when literally everyone is against you, you might be the one who's wrong? I mean, don't get me wrong.
That's an ad populum argument as well.
No, shut up and let me finish.
It is.
I'm not saying that it's right because everyone thinks that, right? I'm saying you don't know why it's right or wrong, but there are a lot of people on the other side of you who are telling you, for various reasons you clearly don't understand, that you're in the wrong. And instead of saying, maybe I'm in the wrong, maybe I need to rethink this, you're just saying, no, it's because everyone thinks it, they must be wrong, because that would be a fallacy, even though that's not what we're arguing. Do you understand, John?
You're basically giving a roundabout justification for ad populum reasoning using rhetorical.
Oh my God, no, John. Thousands of people can see the reason you're wrong.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. There is a reason you're wrong.
I forget what it is. It's something like I read on Wikipedia once. It's about the notion that reality is determined by a relativistic view. But that thing is it does not hold true in reality.
Really?
Like, objective truth remains objectively true.
John, may I
whether or not how
Hold on. Let Charman speak. He might have something to say.
That's true.
Appreciate it. All right.
Sargon is not doing an argument ad populum because that means that he's appealing to the people. He is not appealing. He's just stating a fact that thousands of people disagree with you.
So it's kind of like it's kind of like the justification for ad hominem insults that Sargon gives.
No, John, no.
Okay, so basically, hold on. So
okay.
Let me logically deduce this. So basically, you're saying that Sargon is not arguing that because so many people agree with him, he's right. He's saying that this is my argument, and this many number of people agree with me, right?
No.
No.
Okay,
that's correct. So many people can see the argument and why the argument is correct. But you are in a very small group of people who think the argument is incorrect. Now, I'm not saying we
already agreed that ad populum is a fallacy, then that's an irrelevant point now.
No, John, stop interrupting. Right? I'm not saying that it's because so few people agree with you and so many people agree with me that I'm correct. I'm saying it's not a very difficult argument to divine, which is why so many people can see that you're not in the right.
That's really justification for ad populum argument right there.
No, it's not, John.
It is. It's asserting that is not the case.
No, it's not, John.
Okay, either the number of people who agree or disagree on an issue is relevant or it's irrelevant. Pick one. You can't have it both.
It's not relevant.
Okay, then let's not talk about it. Let's talk about the actual...
John, listen, right? You've got to be reasonable. There's got to be a time when you've got to look at the number of people who are ranged against you saying, John, you're just wrong, and think, well, have I considered that I'm wrong? I mean, you've already admitted you've been wrong a couple of times in this chat in the last 10 minutes of you being here. Is there any chance you could be even more wrong?
That's not quite the case. The only thing that I'll admit
That's
to you is
exactly the
that
case.
it is perhaps possible that I misinterpreted. It is perhaps possible I misinterpreted, but not due to my own failing.
John,
but I would
John,
actually say it to be on your
it's
part.
okay to be wrong.
I
I'm
know.
wrong all
I've
the
admitted
time.
I've been wrong before. I've embarrassingly admitted
No,
I've been
it's
wrong.
fine.
Like, you see
It's
some
fine,
of the stuff.
Yeah, but
Right.
you were wrong right off the bat coming into this, and you wouldn't admit it, and I don't know why.
Okay,
You know,
here's the reason.
It's not failing on your part to be wrong. It's a failing when you don't correct that.
Well, let me just address that real quick.
Sure.
Okay, the reason why I'm not going to outright say I'm wrong in that one is because I can understand that you misspoke in that thing, or that you left a message onto the audience that you did not mean to imply. I can buy that.
I'm not asking you to buy anything. There's obvious nuance there. Even though David Cameron isn't technically wrong, that doesn't mean I agree with him. I mean, it's not technically wrong when the Stormfags say if there were no Muslims in England, no Muslims would have raped any kids in Rotherham. That doesn't mean I agree with that position.
Right.
You
Well,
know, that we shouldn't have any Muslims in England. Do you see my point? It's not wrong, but that's not a position I agree with.
all right. Well, let's just. Yeah, I could. Well, I'll admit that didn't have enough information in that situation.
Okay, but that's the thing. It's not wrong to be wrong, man.
All right, fine. Then I'll admit that I'm wrong only due to ignorance, not malice. Moving on.
Okay, Han, that's a really good point, right? Ignorance, not malice. Now that's something I really want to talk about with you, in fact, because I don't understand why I am your enemy. I don't understand why I am the enemy of Varolo. I don't understand why Varolo hasn't spoken about social justice warriors in the last 4 months. I mean,
He does actually
not on his blog.
True.
So why not? Why doesn't he actually do something productive for Gamergate?
Well, okay. I'm not like that size.
As far as you know, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you don't feel that you can, I assume you guys are friends and you hang out and talk. And so if you don't feel that you're in a position to be able to answer that's fine. Just say.
As far as Verlo goes, I'm not going to speak for him, so those questions about Verlo, I'm not going to address. I'd rather you bring them up to Verlo himself. Moving on from that point, the question of but there is one notion there that really, really irks me. When you said that about why is he doing this for Gamergate? Well, here's the thing.
What is he doing for Gamergate?
Right. What is Gamergate to you?
Honestly, to me, I think Gamergate is finished. I don't think anything else really productive is going to happen, which is why I haven't done anything with Gamergate since the SPJ.
Okay.
Kelly, let me demonstrate something to you real quick. Let me demonstrate. Sargon, I disagree with the Gamergate is over because I think that there's still room to have people because my side of Gamergate is and the whole show is almost all based on anti-censorship. So that kind of lines up with Gamergate. But I mean, I understand.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, that you think that the ethics part may be complete for the most part because, they revise the ethics things and all that, all the codes and all that. But, I mean, since it is a multifaceted issue, I don't think it's completely over. But I think the ethics part may be drawing to a close. I mean, unless someone else pops up and does another huge fucking ridiculous thing.
That's the thing. There are always going to be, areas where, Nathan Grayson promotes one of his buddies again or something. Well, yeah. I don't read Kotaku. Why the fuck would I give them clicks? So I don't see any of that. So I'm not, for me, there's nothing left to do. I go to The Escapist. I'm relatively confident that they've got their shit together. I've been following the what was it, the Star fucking thingy. I read the giant Tech Raptor article, and I'm currently waiting to see what happens. But The Escapist I find so far has been all right, and that's the only thing I ever go to, if I even do, anymore. So, I mean, and the thing is, I can't see what other sort of public victories Gamergate stands to achieve.
Okay, well, here's where I disagree with you guys.
No, hold on. Hang on. The whole point of it was basically to show that that's how you have a debate. You let the other side make their point, then you make a counterpoint. You don't just yell over top of each other.
Yeah, okay, let me just quickly. So I'm not saying, and this is another thing that really, really pisses me off, right? I'm only saying what I think. This is just my opinion, and this is what I'm going to do. You guys can do whatever the hell you like. I'm not going to stop you, and I'll retweet any of your stuff. I still retweet Gamergate stuff that people are doing and stuff. It's just that I personally don't see what else I can contribute. So I don't. There's nothing I can do as far as I can see.
All right. Well, let me address several things then. Firstly, I have a different definition. I disagree with both of you because I don't find your definitions of Gamergate to be practical. Because defining Gamergate as a group or a movement or a goal with causes, just it's not something that anyone can really come to consensus on with all the people involved, especially when it comes to this kind of navel gazing of who is and who's not Gamergate. As an example, like actually I'll bring that one up later. To me, Gamergate is an event, a long-lasting one that is the biggest, longest, and biggest and most extensive flame war of all time. That's how I see it. I think that's the most practical definition you could possibly achieve to events. So when it comes to goals of Gamergate, I don't see that as a thing. I see that as a subjective notion each person has to come to on their own. For instance, maybe someone's goal is only to fight SJWs, as an example. Maybe someone's goal is only to fight for the censorship issues. Maybe someone's only in it for consumer advocacy. And maybe there are some people who are only in it for ethics. The only problem is when these people just basically go ahead and say, well, your issues, they're lesser of importance than these issues, which is why this whole, ethics versus SJWs and the whole ethics cuck meme and...
yeah, but the thing is, no one can stop you from doing what you want to do. It's a hashtag.
There is ways that people can use their influence to basically just completely discredit someone for arbitrary reasons. That's the issue I'm having.
I think that you guys have discredited yourselves.
No, I don't believe that is the case. Like, for one thing, when you criticize GG Revolt, for instance, I've endorsed the board, sure. I've said, hey, I recommend this board because it's free speech. You can post whatever you want. Seriously, the mods don't care. But you can go there right now.
Yeah, but that's one of my problems with it. I mean, I saw a call on there, 2 of them, in fact, to join up with Baphomet and dox me to find out my financial connections to the social justice warriors, which I'm looking forward to seeing the paper trail there. That's going to be very exciting. But the issue is, today I found these calls to dox me on that board. Yes, I fucking can, man. They're in the video on the latest video on my channel, the Hitler one. I've put them in the link, so you can go and have a look at those after this. Okay?
All right, I'm not going to because I'm not the owner of GG Revolt or
no, I'm not blaming you for it because I know you're not the owner, and I'm sure you're not the one calling for a dox and all that. But the point is, someone is, and since I don't know who it is, I can't narrow it down any further than GG Revolt. If I could, I would. I would say, oh, it's this person, but I can't do that because it's anonymous. So I've just got to say, well, it's GG Revolt, and it's on there multiple times, calling for it.
I haven't seen these threads myself.
And that's not in addition to, and that's not even me bringing up all the sort of childishness that I see associated with myself on that board. As if you guys think that I should give you any fucking credit, even the time of fucking day, after the way you talk to me. And you come on here and complain that you got stood up. Fucking hell, man.
No, I was.
Yeah, it's the hypocrisy. You expect to be treated with respect, but you are unable to do it to other people. And don't get me wrong, I disrespect plenty of people as well, but I don't expect those people to give me fucking respect in return. So it's one thing to do and it's one thing to fucking receive. You know what I mean, man? So this is my problem with a lot of this sort of shit, and this is my problem with Get Revolt. They do apparently dox on that board. I don't know who it is, but we never will know, will we?
I can give you a bit of clarification on that. I actually 99% sure know who made that dox thread, by the way, the infamous one.
Oh, well, there are 2 I saw today, but
those 2 I don't know. If they're looking for publicly available information, for instance, that's not Social Security, that's not personal stuff that was accidentally leaked onto the internet or whatever. That's not a dox. If I check those threads and I see their dox threads, I will immediately report them. You have my word on that because I don't.
Oh, I believe you. The thread itself wasn't a dox; it was a call to dox.
Right, but those are individuals.
Of course, I'm sure they are. But
right.
Since I don't know who they are, all I can narrow it down to is GG Revolt.
Okay, but to give you a bit of clarification, because there is an infamous dox thread that came about where basically a whole bunch of information, including personal information that should not have been released, was released onto GG Revolt. It was basically the mods were asleep, and I was speaking with someone but at the time. The guy, okay, are you familiar with a guy called Moxev? A.K.A. Zan, A.K.A. 10-Minute Gamer on Twitter.
Yeah, I know who Zan is, yeah.
Right, yeah. That guy I used to be colleagues with. I'm not anymore because it turns out he is extremely two-faced, and I have every reason to believe that he was the one who posted that thread. The reason I have to believe that is because of one particular bit. In that thread, he posted a dox of Ian Davis, A.K.A. Pig Snout. Mm-hmm. The only person that I know of who has that... The only person that I know of who would have that axe to grind with that guy would be Zan. And that in addition to that and some other information that I know he would be privy to based on my sources, and not many other people would be privy to. That was released on that thread. Not the doxes, some digging information, stuff like that. I don't have anyone's doxes.
Okay,
so,
well, I'm not accusing you. I mean, I don't know who did it, so
right.
I'm not accusing you personally.
Well, because I know, but to continue with why I conclude saying it's because he's admitted to doxing numerous people in that thread, and he's also tried to make kind of justifications to on YouTube and etc. In fact, he's publicly announced that he doxed certain people, including like Craig Bertain's a piece of shit, but he didn't deserve to be doxed. That's not really an appropriate response to that.
Of course, I don't think it's productive in any way, shape, or form.
I think I was absolutely productive though to have shit posted him off the tag in that particular case because he was a blackmailer and yeah. But anyway, but doxing no, and also he admitted to doxing Catherine Cross as well. So I believe it was Zan who posted that thread, and I would also recommend if anyone has to send him a Skype contact, block him because what he does. Not because I'm saying to excise him or something like that. You could probably talk to him in other means. But the reason why I'm saying to block him on Skype is because what he likes to do is to get your information via Skype. So, yeah.
Right, okay. I mean, you can see why people might look at Gamergate Revolt and see it as a problem, right?
Well, I can see that logic and that reasoning, yes, but I don't agree with that reasoning. The reason I don't agree with it is because it's just a failure to understand image board culture.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not, and I'm not saying that it's necessarily entirely correct, but honestly, I think you're gonna have to come to the conclusion that it's not really, the onus isn't really on everyone else to understand it. If they are just seeing these sort of things that are happening there, they're not going to try.
Well, keep in mind, there's different criticisms you can levy on an image board. Like, for instance, I don't like this subject matter isn't for me. Like, if you're not into Gamergate stuff, you're not going to go ahead and post on GG Revolt. It's a subject you're just going to post someplace else. Another end being like, well, I don't like what the community has to offer here. I find what Gamergate HQ has to offer better there. I would disagree with that reasoning, but that is perfectly acceptable. The reason I advocate for Gamergate or GG Revolt, something I said previously, it's you can post whatever you want, doesn't really matter. Like, there's a lot of threads on there. There's people arguing on GG Revolt. It's not this collective hive mind everyone wants to make it out to be. But where was I? Basically, but the thing that I'm having trouble with is basically the blanket statements you've made personally, which you call them right-wing collectivists. They're not right-wing collectivists. I don't understand that reasoning at all. I think that's
there are definitely people on there who are right-wing collectivists. Without a doubt, I've seen more than one thread of people saying something along. I'm paraphrasing, but more than one thread saying something like, "Damn leftists! Why don't you take responsibility for social justice warriors? You helped create them."
Okay, the problem with that is
right-wing collectivism.
Okay, let's just use that as an example, or even a hypothetical, or let's just use that as an example.
Yeah. Sure.
Calling out that individual is perfectly fine. I've called out people that I think have posted stupid shit on Gamergate HQ in the past, for instance. Like, I think that to me the reason I don't like Gamergate HQ is it's because of the moderation policies. It's basically become a hug box. You're not allowed to post whatever you want. Certain things are limited and pigeonholed based on ideas that of dubious and questionable merit, and it's explicitly said to be directed. You can't just say, well, this is what I think Gamergate is to me, and I'm going to post what I think as an individual of what Gamergate is. You have to go with the consensus of the group of Gamergate HQ. That's pretty much the case there. And what's done is devolve things into like navel gazing and special snowflake, what I consider special snowflake syndrome. Not all of them. There are plenty of good threads, and to be perfectly honest, I haven't checked the board in a long time because I just got tired of looking at it. So that maybe things have changed since then. Word down the grapevine hasn't. Just want to make that clarification.
Okay, but what I mean is when I say that there are right-wing collectivists on GG Revolt who think that the entire left wing is responsible for social justice warriors, you must understand that that's not like just one person. I've seen it multiple times, and it's obviously nonsense, right?
But the problem is, in your messages, when you go on Twitter and you say that all of them are this, and you say GG Revolt period is this, and that these people are that, and you basically do this over and over again, and you argue the point with people.
I can't distinguish who it is. Unfortunately, the price of being anonymous is that I can't point out the individual who's doing it. So I'm just gonna go to the next nearest thing to the individual, which is the board you're posting. I don't blame all of 8chan. I don't blame all of Gamergate. I just blame the board that it is repeatedly being posted on, because that is as far as I can narrow it down.
Well, why not just say some posters then? That'd be more accurate. Just say some posters say stupid shit on GG Revolt.
Because I've got a 140 character limit.
Well, that may be so, but just like, reducing it to that, and then when people say, hey, what's up with this, and you basically double down and say, no, this is what it is, and then you keep asserting that point, and I've seen you do it.
When people on there do it, that is what it is. If they didn't do it, I wouldn't be able to say that this is what happens on that board. So that is an intrinsic thing about what happens on that board. People post this kind of nonsense. Now, I didn't say it was all people constantly posting that thing on that board, but that is something that happens on that board. I mean, I'm sure we can agree to that, right?
Mm-hmm. Me personally, my vantage point, I haven't seen it. I've seen the posts you made, but I'm not sure if they were in context or not. If there are people who say that stuff, I wouldn't agree with it. I'd be like, no, that's not the case. Like,
I'm not saying that you agree with it necessarily. I'm just saying that that's the thing. When we're talking as individuals, I can understand what your position is, and you say no. I personally, as an individual, don't agree with that. But when I'm reading through this thread on 8chan, and a bunch of people are like, yeah, stupid leftists, and I'm not even taking it personally. I'm just like, right, okay, well, this is just reasoning that is unsound. And, lots of people in the thread are agreeing with it. I mean, I don't know how many people that represents. The thing is, GG Revolt doesn't have a particularly huge user base, does it? So, I mean, that, even if it's like 10 people agreeing, that's a much larger percentage of GG Revolt's user base.
You can actually check on that, by the way.
It's 110 people or something, isn't it?
No. You can, like you can check for subscribers in Kotaku and Action. You can actually check for posts per hour and unique IDs by going to the boards section.
Okay.
So you can actually, I would say there's about 100 to 120 people who post on that board. It's not just 10.
Okay, I'm not saying it was just 10 people who post on the board, but this is my thing though. It's like if I see this I've seen it multiple times, then it's definitely something that a percentage of the board agrees with, and I think it's a silly line of reasoning. It's exactly the same as social justice warriors saying, oh, that's a right-wing point of view. It's like, I don't know. I don't even know if there is such a thing as a right-wing point of view.
But you can see a certain irony in what you're doing when you just basically say, oh, GG Revolt is X, instead of, applying that nuance. It's a failure of the English language, I know. But when you say GG Revolt does this, and then people say, well, no, actually, GG Revolt is not all this. We're all individuals here. You have certain people.
You add in the qualifier of all. I didn't say all. I said GG Revolt does this, and it does. Factually, it does do that. I didn't say all GG Revolt posters do that. So yeah. I know you are right. It is semantics, and I could, don't get me wrong, I could have been more nuanced. But to be honest with you, man, if you read through some of those posts and they were about you, would you be in any way inclined to do that?
Well, it depends on context. Most of the time, what I do is I just ignore those posts. To be honest, sometimes I'll see people arguing over me, for instance. I don't know. A lot of people have made people have either you could put it either way. You could say I've made enemies because I've stayed with my principles, or you could say people have made enemies to me because I have certain principles that I like to hold people to, mainly by making them stay to their own. When I see that, I generally just laugh it off. I mean, I've noticed this is something that people really who are on social media seem to care about a bit more than they should. It's like what someone anonymously says about you on an image board. It could be an issue, but most times it's not.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's more that I'm thinking of what Varelo says constantly. He's got this weird obsession with me, and one thing that really bothers me is he put on one of his Manamonger things, my Kickstarter's none of your business, and that really pissed me off. And over a picture of Nitsaki's face, that pissed me off for two reasons. Right? One, it shows where his interests lie. He's not interested in dealing with social justice warriors. And two, I answered every single one of his questions about my Kickstarter. Every single one. I was as transparent as I could be, and yet he still does this. So what am I meant to think? What's my opinion meant to be of Varelo? It's obviously not going to be very high, is it?
Well, like I said, when it comes to Varelo, I can't answer for Varelo.
That's true, but do you think him doing that is justified?
Frankly, yeah. I'm going to say that. And
okay,
I'll give the reason.
Why do you think that's justified?
Okay, the reason why it's justified when it comes to the Kickstarter thing is I don't believe you have properly addressed I don't believe you addressed your things to your backers, because when it comes to we talk about consumer advocacy when it comes when it comes to Gamergate ethics, what are the ethics there for? Consumer advocacy. It means putting the consumer first, ahead of the developers, ahead of the journalists, ahead of the others. The consumers should be given the best options available to them. It'll never be a perfect system, but we can make it as good as possible. When you're going about championing like ethics in journalism and consumer advocacy and all this other stuff, yada yada, and then you have this Kickstarter that's unfinished. It's like the issue I see from me is I find it to be a failing of a developer to basically go ahead, announce that the game's going to be released at X date, and then delay it. It can be a small failing if it's like a few months, but it's been almost a year and a half, and that is a reason to be critical of what happened there.
Yeah, but that's not unethical, is it?
Yeah, I would consider unethical, yes. Like, it might not be.
You just said it was a failing of a developer.
Yes, it's a failing.
Could you define what you think ethical means?
Here, if you're not being pro-consumer in this context that I'm using it in, and at this point I'm realizing that ethics, that a lot of times in these nuanced discussions using the term ethics and unethical doesn't really help the conversation a lot. When it comes to
the thing is, what you're saying is I have deliberately spent, it's deliberately run over the time. There's no room for incompetence, because this is our first game, and one of our team, 30% of the team did quit when making it. There's no room for incompetence. By calling it unethical, you're saying I have deliberately done this.
The problem I see, it's more.
Do you think I would stand for that? Do you think that should be stood for?
The problem I see is it's a failing on your part to not reach out to backers and say, hey, you know what, the game's late. We'll be offering refunds if you want them.
The thing is, you know who my backers are, don't you?
I've seen some of their comments. I haven't researched who they are, and it's a case of where when it comes to doing your best giving your backers your best, because I've had arguments about this Kickstarter debacle with other people. It's been like they keep on trying to shift the goalposts as to whether at the end of the day they're consumers. They're people who pay into a product to see it succeed.
Actually, that's the point. Now I don't really want to get out of this by saying, well, we've kind of got mitigating circumstances here, but all of our backers are friends and family. That's all of them.
All of them.
Are friends and family.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I've got an issue with that. Firstly, I know that you said most of them were on the stream with Verilo. Was that an error in your part?
Well, if there are ones who aren't friends and family, I'm not aware of them.
Okay. The second problem is I've documented that something you said on stream was untrue. That being that what you said, and this is something that I cannot see as anything other than a lie. But I'm always willing to hear the right reply.
Okay.
And I wrote an article about it, so I made a video of it. Admittedly, this article could have been done a bit better. It was a bit polemic, if you will, because I figured that it was necessary. But basically, in your post, you basically said that, we didn't get any coverage, but
no.
You did actually get a lot of coverage. And I don't see any way you could have not known that.
Okay.
And you said it.
You don't think that I might have been talking proportionally there?
No, there's no way.
Okay, well, I'm telling you that I was. Okay. When I say we didn't get any coverage, I mean from anyone with a significant viewer base, a significant number of hits to what they have on their website. We went to the big people. We went to Kotaku, Rock Paper Shotgun, all those sort of people. We didn't even get a single email reply.
But you did get 8 other outlets.
Yes, 8 other outlets that, between them, have a tiny, tiny viewership.
Well, you did get Gamer Shell, you got Zam Monthly, you got what was this one here? This one's an old one, so it's you got Shoot Games, you have forgive me, you got Game Sauce, you have this one here. So you have one called Clicks. You have one called actually a second one from the same publication.
Yeah, they were all very small at the time. I don't know what they're like now, obviously, but when they were when they were interviewing us, they were small outlets, which is why they were interviewing us.
But the fact of the matter is, most indie games don't have any coverage whatsoever. But these outlets, numerous ones of them, did give you that platform to spotlight your game. And you specifically said on stream multiple times you didn't get any coverage. You did not clarify that you did get coverage from the smaller outlets.
Okay, well, I'm clarifying that now.
Okay, but you only clarified it when it was brought to your attention.
Well, I thought it was self-evident.
It was not self-evident. It's not well known that this... No, it's not self-evident, period.
It's not like... If between them 1,000 people saw those articles, between them, I would be surprised.
Well, the reason why I bring this up
in the chat, there are people going, "I've never heard of any of these."
Well,
and that's because they're tiny outlets. Because you had to go specifically looking for them because they're tiny outlets. So when I say no one would give us the time of day, I mean maybe I was being impolite to those tiny outlets. Maybe I should have given them more attention. And you know what? It's not more than what most indies get, Varelo. You don't know what you're talking about, buddy. I spent about 6 months as part of the indie dev community, having beefs with Rami Ismail about social justice.
For clarification, is Verlo in the chat because I haven't paid attention?
Yes, he is in the chat.
Okay.
But this is the point, right? Lots of indie devs do get lots of coverage, but like me, it's with these tiny outlets.
Well, the point is, you still got all this coverage, and it is very well possible that through this coverage, you also got people who aren't friends and family. Furthermore,
okay, but if
they
haven't said to us. That's the thing. If they did, none of us has been like, "Yo, can we have our money back or anything like that?" And I would be more than happy to refund any money. I mean, the game is completely funded. So
this is where I disagree. Where I disagree is where when you are late on a game and you don't offer refunds, I find that to be an ethical failing.
Right.
In my assessment, you should have had all your ducks lined in a row before launching the Kickstarter, like Shovel Knight did, as a counterpoint.
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt you, but why aren't you complaining about Star Citizen?
Yeah, that's a good.
No,
one.
hang on.
That's a lot bigger thing.
No.
He's got a historical complaint against me because they don't like me. So we could always say, there are hundreds of Kickstarters that have got much worse problems than our one. So there's no point changing the subject.
Okay, so wait, that's actually a good question though. Why am I focused on this Kickstarter in particular? Well, my thing is, I don't like hypocrisy. I don't like seeing someone say one thing.
Where's the hypocrisy though? What's this
Exactly.
hypocrisy that you speak of?
Getting to that.
All right.
Okay. Sargon is someone who has been purporting in his arguments for his quote unquote pro Gamergate stance that he is a consumer advocate, doing this for consumer advocacy. He's been promoting that when someone's telling him, like specifically one of his videos, for some reason I can remember these off the top of my head. There was a video he made way back where he said specifically back in January, where as an example, that when someone's giving him a review of a game, he wants to know where that they're giving him good informative opinion on their. I am fumbling this. I'm sorry. Basically, when you're being informed on a product, you want to know where the biases lie and all that other stuff. You want those things disclosed. You want to get the best opinion possible in a review for a product. You don't want all these biases, etc. And he's enforcing all these ethical standards, like you have to tell the truth. You have to make sure that you don't have you recuse yourself or disclose your conflicts of interest, etc., so on and so forth. Yet, he really fucked up with this Kickstarter. And the thing about Kickstarter and crowdfunding things is, I find that the ethical standards for crowdfunding need to be higher than the ethical.
Sorry, who's fucked up with their Kickstarter? Sorry.
You didn't fail with your Kickstarter.
Sorry, sorry, say again.
Your Kickstarter failed.
No, it didn't.
It's a year
You
and a half
realise
late.
most of the Kickstarters were his family and his other
No,
developers.
Yeah.
That's an irrelevant point.
Is
It's
not
still
only
failure.
fully funded.
How is it failure?
The game is still in development.
It's
No,
a year
it's
and a half
not.
late from release.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it a failure. That makes it delayed.
It makes it a. It's
No,
okay.
that makes
Well,
it delayed. It doesn't make it a failure. It makes it delayed.
well, then I would say that
and do you know what's
Forever
do you
is a
know
roaring
what's
success.
even more
then.
ironic, right? Is that you guys are actually probably going to delay it even further, because before Gamergate, which is when I did all of this, I probably would have had the game released by now, and not because of Gamergate, but because I would have been like, you know what, no one's going to fucking buy it. They don't know who we are. You know, we've had no publicity. We've had, we've had very little publicity, John.
It was 2.5 months late from when Gamergate started.
Let me finish, right? We've had very little publicity. 30% of our team quit. You know, I didn't think anyone was going to buy it anyway, so I probably just released it and it'd been a bit shit. But now that so many people are paying attention, I've been pondering this the past couple of weeks. I don't think I'm prepared to release it in the conditions in, just because of how many people are paying attention. I might have to spend a good few months redoing the game in a different format to make it a better game. So yeah, it's probably going to be even later, John. So mark that down as another ethical failing, buddy.
That is anti-consumer, regardless of what ethical failing or not.
Kelly, let me ask you something.
Okay, John, I'll tell you what. I'll give you my mum's phone number, shall I? And you can ring her up and ask her how she feels.
Well, that brings up an elephant in the living room. Well,
Kelly, how exactly
if
is being...
it's... One second. I'll let you go in a second. If your friends and family are the only ones, you said in the stream that it was only your friends and family who
As far as I'm aware. As far as
you're aware, to the best of your knowledge, it's either all or mostly, if given the benefit, with that doubt.
And if there are people who aren't friends and family, they haven't contacted us to let us know.
Gotcha. But that goes back to my point about consumer advocacy. You should be proactive with doing your best to your backers, not reactive. They shouldn't have to come to you to get their money back. If you fail on a product, you should go to them and just say, we're sorry, the game's late. If you want a refund, we'll give it to you. Just let us know, and that would be fine in my book. If they don't reply, if they don't reply, well, I don't think that can really be held to you at that point, but you did make the effort to actually do your best to your backers.
Kelly, can I ask you something?
Yeah, actually go for it, then I'll bring up the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Well, I had something to say too, but go on.
Here's the problem that I have with this whole argument you have against Sargon being unethical. And I'm not being biased because, I mean, I read Verilow's shit, and originally, before I talked to him and dug deeper, I kind of agreed with what he was saying until I got to the business part, which made no fucking sense and was a filibuster of bullshit. But this is the thing. How is Sargon unethical because of not releasing the game yet? It's not. If he went and said, you know what, I got the money, I'm walking away, I'm not gonna make the fucking game. Fuck you guys, I'm taking my $6,000 and going home. That's unethical. But he's making the fucking game. Would you want him to release a turd, just take a shit on your PC that just fucks up your master boot record just so you have your damn game? I mean, it's not like he just said, all right, fuck this, I'm walking out.
He's not one of our backers. So
no, I'm not one of the backers.
I'm answering these questions out of good faith.
As a member of the public, I'm allowed to criticize people who are starting up crowdfunding campaigns.
Yeah, but as someone who's not a backer, I could just ignore you. So.
Well, yes, just as like a journalist could ignore one of their people that are not readers now, can't they?
Of course. But
that's what Polygon stance is, by the way.
I'm not doing that.
Okay.
You know, I have good faith I'm answering your questions.
Okay.
I'm doing it because I've got nothing to hide. I mean, you saw the developer streams, right? You saw the assets, you saw the levels,
I saw you put
project.
truths, yes.
Yeah, well, that's part of the boring part of making levels.
It's not debugging, though.
That particular instance was not debugging, you're correct.
I didn't watch the streams in full. Someone else who watched the streams in full could say whether or not there was any debugging, but from everything I see when I just tuned in every once in a while, there was no debugging. It was placements of units and stuff because I'm not a developer. I'm not. But I do know a few basic things because I was previously a modder. So
you'll just have to take my word for it that we don't need any more money. Everything's fine. It's from an artistic perspective that I haven't released this game, and I do have some bugs to fix, but I haven't done it because I'm thinking about retooling the game entirely.
The issue here isn't the artistic merits or vision of the game; it's the consumer portion of it because you did ask for money. No, not to me. This is not something that can't be. This is not something that's subjective that can be just said to you about because once you do something for money, it becomes essentially your occupation, and then you have a dedication to your service that you have to fulfill.
No, it doesn't. That's not true, John. Right? We took £8,000, and that was entirely for the licenses and models and assets for the game. This does not make it our occupation. You can't live
you
on
asked for money.
£8,000. No, John, shush. Right. That doesn't make it our occupation. That just means we said we would conduct this project, and with this money, we would produce this output. And don't get me wrong, I vastly overestimated how long it was going to take. Totally on me, right?
Well, this is a common deflection and dodge of
No, this isn't deflection. It's a reason, John. All right.
It's a reason, but it's also
this
deflection.
Is a reason.
How's it deflection?
I can explain. Basically, when you offer something for money, because when you say, hey, donate to this, you will get this. That is the implicit promise. Even if Kickstarter wants to list as a donation, or some people have to compare it to investments, it's not an investment at all. That one argument is really dumb. But even if Kickstarter wants to say it's a donation, it's still advertised to the public as being a promise of a product that will be delivered. So as far as I'm concerned, that expenditure is a form of consumption, which then prompts someone who is interested in consumer advocacy to take note of it. Now, the issue here is that you're basically asking the public for money, and then you don't deliver, in a timely fashion. Like you specifically stated May 2014, and then it got delayed and delayed and delayed. It's a year and a half, and you can say it's not a failed project because it'll come out eventually. But by that notion, Duke Nukem Forever did nothing wrong because it was 12 years late. But
no, but it wasn't a failed project, was it?
I would say
a very delayed project.
I would say a very delayed project.
Don't get me wrong. For people whose professions is making video games, then I would absolutely say that's a direct failure on their part.
Well,
but to be honest with you, mate, I think a bunch of amateurs making a video game, I think it's kind of expected.
If your game if you did not ask the public for money, I'd have no problem with that. And I know you say it's friends and family, but I'm going to get to that in a second. Mm-hmm. If you did not ask the public for money, I wouldn't be on your case because so what? It's like there's so many things that
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. So get to the other bit. Okay.
The elephant in the room is you're basically saying that it was just your friends and family who donated to your project. Then what was the point of the Kickstarter? It's an uneconomically unsound decision because Kickstarter takes 10% of those donations away. If it was all money from friends and family, why put it in a public platform? Why put it in a public space? Why do all this advertiserial push? Make the attempt. You contacted dozens of.
I think you can answer that. Why would someone do that?
That's not for me to answer.
Well, it is actually.
Nope.
No. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's your project, right? Think as a businessman. What would you like on your resume for your game? Would you like the words "successful Kickstarter"?
I thought it was a passion project, not a product.
Well, of course it's a product, John.
Okay, so it's established as a product, not a project. So why is it a year and a half late?
No, it is both, John. Okay,
you can't have it. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
No, John, that doesn't make sense. I am passionate about what I'm doing, but I'm still producing a product, right?
Right.
But if you are trying to make a career out of making video games, which is what I wanted to do, you need to be able to have a product to sell, and it helps if you're trying to get attention to say, yes, we have a successful Kickstarter. If you want, like, say, well, now this is ironically what we thought anyway, is you're going to want a successful Kickstarter to get the press interested. Not that I knew that wasn't going to get the press interested, but that was just a business thing that we got advice on, in fact. But yeah, so that's why, John. That's why we were using Kickstarter.
That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's businessly unsound, and I'm a pleb. So
no, it makes perfect sense, John.
Well, you've been arguing that you basically moved around by saying that first it was a passion project, then said it was a product, and when it's convenient, it's kind of like go left, go right, and you're kind of doing this kind of wishy-washy thing to take away responsibility.
But, no, I'm not, John. No, John, I'm exactly not doing that, right? I'm directly answering your points, right? It was a part-time project, right? I didn't say a passion project. I said part-time. I can't work on that full-time with a total budget of £8,000. That's $12,000, John. How long do you think that would last?
How much money? Wait, 12,000. How many pounds and dollars is there exactly? Because the last I checked, it was like $6,000, and then it changed to 8,000 to 12,000.
No. It's £8,000, roughly $12,000. Okay.
Okay.
You cannot expect anyone. I mean, that simply wasn't any kind of wages or anything like that. That was simply money to buy the assets to actually make the game, right? So in the meantime, we had full-time jobs.
But that doesn't really answer the question of why use Kickstarter when it's friends and family that's giving you the money.
Because, John, as I also answered, if you want the attention of the press, if you can say, hey, we have a successful Kickstarter, it might make them think there is a lot of interest already in your game, and it might encourage them to cover it to get more people to be paying attention to your game in the future. It's
why were you making calls for action? But that doesn't make sense at all because the whole reason for getting that stuff is so that people, donate to your project or they buy your product when it comes out to release. So it's all business to me. It's not a passion project. You can just say, well, it's mostly friends and family.
I didn't say passion project. I said part-time.
Okay, even if it's part-time, it doesn't matter. It's still you're working in a professional business capacity. These are questions that need to be answered.
No, John. I'm not a professional game developer.
Well, that's obvious.
Yeah, it is absolutely obvious. For $12,000, nobody is a professional game developer, right?
Well, right.
It's very, very obvious. This is a part-time thing I'm working on, right?
Well, the
And
issue I'm having here is
how,
use a public platform to get donations from your friends and family, and that just bugs me. But doesn't that lead to another issue?
Mate, honestly, hang on. Too bad. I don't care if that bugs you. That can bug you to hell back. There's nothing illegitimate about doing that at all. And we specifically did that to have just another thing in our CV to try and get the press interested.
But isn't that awfully anti-consumer then to be basically going ahead?
That's a silly position.
It's not a silly position.
What a ridiculous thing. No, mate. Next point. That's stupid. Carry on.
No, I'm not going to say it's a stupid point.
Well, okay, but I'm going to say that anything you say after this regarding this point is stupid. So let's just move on.
That would be in violation of cultural libertarianism maxim 2, no public shaming.
I'm going to call you stupid for carrying on this point. Anyone listening, I swear to God, John, right?
That would be in violation of cultural libertarian maxim 1.
Anyone else will understand what I'm saying. Literally, anyone else will understand what I'm saying. You don't. So if you don't, that's fine. I don't know how else to... And guys, in the chat, or in the stream, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I use Kickstarter?
But that doesn't mean they agree with you. And even if they do agree or disagree, we've already established that popular argument.
I don't care whether you agree with me or not, right? The reasoning for using Kickstarter is because we thought to say we have a successful Kickstarter would get the attention of the media. We were wrong, don't get me wrong. They didn't care. No one gave a shit that we had a successful Kickstarter. But you not understanding that doesn't make me unethical. It doesn't make anything. Either way, it just means you don't understand it. That's all.
Well, then that's your failing for not clarifying to the public, considering this is a public platform that you're choosing to use. You did publicly ask for donations. You've made various rallying cries to attract public donations. You even said in interviews that you were hoping people would donate to the project and all this other stuff. And you're not being transparent in your financial dealings, and this has caused people to say what gives. Especially
How am I not being transparent in my financial dealings, John?
Okay, you assert that's mostly friends and family. Why not just disclose the backers' names and stuff? Well, not their names, but why not just disclose...
Why the hell would I do any of this?
Because
why would I do any of this?
Because, again, you owe the backers. If the backers are truly...
I'm not releasing my family's names to fucking autists like you guys. Look at fucking Varelo in the chat. Oh, Sargon can't defend this point. Are you insane? There is nothing for me to defend. You honestly go.
No, there definitely is. You're definitely
go and ask someone who works for the press, John. Since you don't understand it, go to TechRaptor or something and say, hey, if you were going to cover an indie game, would you cover a game that had a successful Kickstarter or didn't have a successful Kickstarter if you had the choice? And they will tell you, the one with the successful Kickstarter, because that is more likely to already have an interest in it.
If I recall correctly, TechRaptor has done numerous articles on investigative journalism into Kickstarter projects. Multiple.
Oh, John, that's...
They have a series on it, actually.
That's not the point, John. That's not the issue.
You also said that James Fudge's article, when I specifically asked you on a stream, like I was in the chat and you answered my question, which I applaud you for answering this, that James Fudge's artiole on Necromancer was an act of good journalism. Regardless of what ethical failings...
You'll have to remind me, James Fudge's article.
Yes. Do you want to link to it? You said this was good journalism. The one that basically you made a list of demands in an email. You basically said no.
I can't remember what you're talking about there, to be honest.
Okay, I will get a link for you. In the meantime, in the meantime, the reason why I say it's an elephant in the room about the whole friends and family thing is it's a completely unsound business decision. And by doing it in that method, it makes me question the validity of your claim, especially since you were your statements were not reflective of the truth previously, considering the coverage situation. When you got different websites who field for you, and you basically did make calls for people to donate to your website, it just doesn't add up.
Okay, so, but it actually does, though, John.
So, no. Kelly, basically, what you're saying to Sargon is, dox your Kickstarter backers because we need evidence. That's totally ethical, mate. That's totally
I'll admit that statement was a bit foot and mouth, and I will say I was wrong in that particular statement. That's not what I meant there. There's a better...
You did say show us their names.
Kelly, let me ask you the real question.
Just to Thidron that said the Game Politics article, yeah, that was completely accurate. And if you look in that Game Politics article, there's nothing controversial in it. He's literally just repeated what Varelo said, but he's left out Varelo's lack of understanding of UK business law.
It doesn't matter because Farrell's article didn't address UK law. You basically use a straw man to basically explain
Right.
He did on the stream.
What?
He did.
on the stream. Yes, on the stream, he lost that. Like, I've actually argued with Farrell at this point. He lost that debate. Like,
Of course he did.
yes, on that.
Oh, you're going to
particular
split
one.
up with him now, is it? Is that what's going to happen?
No, come on. John's been alright. We don't need to mock. You know, we can be polite. Come
I
on.
was joking.
I know. But sorry.
Like, me
Okay.
and Farrell don't always agree on everything. Like, I would say at certain points in the debate, he had the upper hand, but overall, he could have sharpened his rhetoric in order to combat yours. But the way you won was in bad faith.
But that's just about winning the argument. That's not about determining who's right. That's the thing.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to determine, right? I am not in the wrong by any objective standard that I can see.
There are no objective standards right or wrong.
Of course there are.
No, there aren't. Okay. The problem with that notion is that it either
from a standard that anyone who doesn't specifically hate me is trying to judge me by, I can't see anything that I've done wrong. The things you're complaining about are completely standard business practice. The things Varolo was complaining about are completely normal in UK business law.
Well, there's a problem with this. Firstly, crowdfunding projects are new. It's like businesses are now out competing the standards of the law and stuff. And right now, what we're doing through this Gamergate stuff, what we're doing through Kickstarter stuff, when we're going through all this little minutia and have these discussions like this, we're actually setting forth what's going to be the standard for the future. And to me, the best way to handle this is to have ethical standards that are benefit the consumer. This is why issues like this are important to me. This is actually something that's been on my radar for before Gamergate. I mean, like, I wasn't as proactive as I am now, and certainly, yes, you could say that I maybe should be going after other Kickstarters and stuff as well as this one, but that doesn't change the issue here. Like,
yeah, but
this is actually.
I agree with you. I'm not interested in hearing about you going after other Kickstarters because that's irrelevant to me.
Okay.
So yeah, go on. What other issues do you have?
All right. Well, do you mean with Necromancer specifically, or do you want to move on to
with anything? Since you've got me in the stream, with anything.
All right. I will hold off on the Necromancer stuff, except to say that there does not seem to be it doesn't seem you're being proactive in clarifying some of this stuff, like with the coverage thing and the explanation that you gave about the friends and family backers. Like, if you use Kickstarter for that thing, that was a really terrible business move at the very least.
Yeah, but it wasn't though. That's your opinion, but.
10% loss from every donation put into your Kickstarter. I think that's a terrible business move.
The potential of having a much wider reach, it's called a gamble. It didn't pay off either, by the way. You know, it didn't pay off at all.
Well, basically, you rolled. There's a good D20 metaphor in here, but
yeah, there is. I rolled a 1 or whatever, but it wasn't that bad. But yeah, no, you're right.
It's more like you had to roll like a 16 to win, and that's really terrible odds. Or even an 18 to win.
Yeah, maybe, but if you don't try, you don't get, do you? And you never know. So I'm more than happy to pay £800 to have that chance, especially as we could complete the entire game with 7,200.
I think that I still think that I still think you're not owning up to your own failings in this, which is, I think, the more important thing. Cause
it's a delay. There's no failure to report.
Problem. This is the problem I'm having, because if you accept that this delayed game is, if you accept,
then Mighty Number 9 is a failure. Then Star Citizen is a failure.
Mighty Number 9 is far more of a failure, and people should be hounding that developer a lot more than Sargon. I'll give you that.
Then go and hound him.
I'm thinking of doing more.
No, might. There is no try, only do, to quote Yoda. Please, go ahead and do it.
I'll put it on the to-do list, but I actually want to get to some other stuff, like some people have suggested to me that I expand on like a series called Think Serious. It basically goes through a bunch of people throughout the Gamergate scandal, like academics, journalists, other people who have web connections, old faces, new faces, controversial faces for sure. Some people have suggested that I write articles on that. I might be inclined to do so. I might also cover some other Gamergate stuff. I don't know. My number 9, if enough people ask me to, I'll
okay, but I'm half an hour over the time I was going to spend.
All right, let me just get into some other points then.
Yeah, if we can just get through the other points, that'd be great.
I'm a bit rambly, forgive me. When it comes to GG Revolt, we already went over it, but okay, here's something I really want to get your take on. Here's something I'm seeing a growing trend. This is something that I agree with Varolo on. In his latest article, I would go past the part of the second half of the article about cultural libertarianism, that to me is just pure. I'm going to be flat honest. That to me is pure cancer. It's
Okay, I haven't read it, so I don't know what his opinion is. Do you want to just sum it up for me?
Okay, TLDR, cultural libertarianism is basically a means of just like, collecting all libertarians to one group and collecting all authoritarians into another group and basically making the Gamergate's SJW aspect into like a political front, which is actually slowly
Why
happening.
is that a bad idea?
Okay, the issue I have with this is it basically there's several problems with this. Firstly, it's kind of a collectivist stance where you're basically putting the right and the left together and you're just eroding them and just basically dividing everyone into authoritarians and libertarians. That to me is inherently, like, I'm someone who is right-wing. People try to even tell me that I'm left-wing, which just doesn't make any sense to me. But that's...
So I get told I'm right-wing all the time, man.
Yeah, like, it has to do a lot more than just, your political outlook, to my understanding. It also has to do with, like, your psychology, but that's another discussion. The problem is you're, like, using the same tactics against the left as you are the right, and it's just basically merging everything together. It's also basically causing certain people to be oddly hypocritical, like, really bizarrely. In particular, Milo Yiannopoulos. He's someone who's consistently been a social conservative, and now he's a cultural libertarian. No, those two are... No.
Okay. Let me interrupt then, because I don't think that cultural libertarianism is collectivist.
Okay.
That is, I think, the main issue that you're having here, that I disagree with you on. I don't think it's collectivist at all. In fact, I think it's incredibly individualist. And
Then
I think that was Allen's entire idea behind it, was to give people who are individualists a banner under which to stand, to choose to stand.
But that's a collectivist notion by saying, well, it's kind of like...
That's not a collectivist
maybe
notion.
not collectivist. Maybe not collectivist notion that we've been using it here, but it's...
There's nothing wrong with being part of a group if you're an individual within that group.
Tribalistic. It's a tribalistic notion to say that we need to ban under cultural libertarianism. The only...
That's true. No, you're right. It is tribalistic. But let's be honest with ourselves, Gamergate was tribalistic. We wouldn't have had we wouldn't have had any effect if we weren't. You need numbers, you need a consistent message, and cultural libertarianism, I don't know how much more individualistic you could get. Every individual person should be free to act culturally as they please.
They should be able to act independently as they please, and not have to maintain consistency and
That's exactly the issue. That's exactly the message of cultural libertarianism. Just act as you please, as long as you're not infringing on someone else's rights, which I'm sure is a condition we can all agree to.
Somewhat.
There's no fucking question in that. There's not even a fucking debate when it comes to that. Let people do what the fuck they want. Leave them alone if you unless Sargon's going and saying, I eat babies, let's go all eat babies together. What the fuck is the problem?
Okay.
Jesus Christ, I've been listening to this bullshit for about an hour and a half now, probably. Sargon, you're wrong.
If I can
look, goddammit, I'm gonna look. You've been running your fucking mouth on here long enough. Look, how the fuck is him being unethical? How is Sargon unethical for not having a goddamn crystal ball to know that prick was gonna leave the fucking project? Tell me that right now. You got one paragraph to do this, because I'm not gonna listen to a fucking filibuster of bullshit about how he's an ass or something.
In my assessment of what happened with Necromancer, I would say that Sargon fucked up and he didn't address the mistake properly. That would be the ethical failing of my...
Fine, he fucked up. People fuck up. I fuck up all the time, but at least if I fuck up and it turns out I fucked up, I say I fucked up. Sargon, did you fuck up when... Did you fuck up? Have you ever made a mistake your whole damn life?
I tell you what, I really wish I'd known how long it was going to take. I really fucking do.
There, happy, ethical. He said he fucked up.
That's not the issue. The issue to me is whether or not those backers, whether they be friends and family, get their things back. As far as that goes, there's also the issue of him claiming
they don't want anything back.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just have to take your word for it.
Fuck's sake.
Jesus.
But that is also the same rhetoric and dodges that a lot of people use Patreon and Kickstarter use to basically make up for their own failings as well.
Yeah, but I actually speak to my family.
All right, but it still doesn't make any sense that you said to start a Kickstarter where it was basically friends and family donating. I mean, even with the whole social reach and trying to build a platform up, you could have announced you're making this indie game, tried to get involved with some communities and stuff like that, did your own social reaching. In fact, you did do the social reach with by going through Twitter and telling other people about this. But
You
the
do as
fancy
much as you
Kickstarter,
can, John.
the fancy Kickstarter platform and label just seems to be a completely incompetent business move, which ultimately
Well, again,
led
it's
to the
not
Then
a
make
fucking
your own
business
fucking
Alright.
game.
It's a marketing move, John. It's not a business move. It's a
Oh my
marketing move.
god.
John, when are you
Marketing
going to
moves are
stop
business
moving the
moves.
goalposts and making this circular argument, and we can get to the point?
I was getting to cultural libertarianism, but he decided to deflect with
I
it.
don't
We're
give a
there.
shit about
We-
cultural. That
I
has
thought we
nothing to
already
do with the whole
covered that.
point of this. The whole point is that
I
you're
didn't
coming
cover
on
it
here
because you were
to
basically
bitch about
saying-
Sargon. Didn't give you a reach around like
No,
Verillo
Johnny,
gives you
Johnny,
every
my
day.
issue, the reason why I wanted to come on here wasn't specifically because Sargon came on here. My issue was you said, hey, John, let me interview you on a stream so that way I can get to know you better. I know it's going to be a tough interview.
Who the
and
hell
actually
said I
now-
wasn't going to interview after Sargon left?
Because you said, because you blocked me on Twitter.
You
would
did.
you do that?
You blocked
me too,
him.
you bastard.
Why would you block me if you're going to basically interview
Because
me?
I'm not
after?
going to listen to this autistic bullshit all day because I got better things to fucking do. I could be jerking off or something right now versus listening to your fucking
Then
like
why'd you agree to the
rhetoric
interview?
about all this stuff about Sargon was mean to me, so I'm going to
Why did
go
you
and bitch at him
explicitly
about
ask
it.
me to come on your channel to talk about Sargon if you
Then
didn't
why
want
the
to hear me
fuck
talk
can't
about
we just
Sargon?
move this to another day then,
Johnny,
since you want to be
Johnny,
so
you
picky
fucked
about
up.
it? I'm so sick of this shit of you and him always going, somebody's mean, I'm going to go and fucking cry about it and tell everybody he's an asshole, even though he said, I mean, fuck, dude, I'm sorry,
Weren't
I
you
was
typing on
incompetent.
Twitter that you
I
showed
could have,
parallel
look,
up to the interview?
I could have just had it where I could bring you on after Sargon was done. Sargon and me decided to do a show. You wanted to come on here to bitch, so now I let you come on here to bitch. What
You
is the fucking
specifically
problem? You're
said
here now, aren't you? I
3
haven't
p.m.
kicked you out
was the
yet.
day of the interview. What happened was I contacted you
Oh
at
my
3. Admittedly, I
fucking
contacted you
God.
late. That's fair enough. I should have contacted you probably a little bit. Well, actually, you should have contacted me, to be perfectly honest. This is your
Oh,
show.
suck a dick.
Well, no reason to get salty, man. You fucked up. Just own up to it. You should have,
Yes, I
you
fucked
should have
up,
not,
but you're being a fucking dumbass about it. You're going off and screaming and hollering for 2 hours now at a guy that is still. Do you have a camera up his ass to say that if he
in
is
this
working
particular
on it
case,
or not?
Sargon
Do you
is
have
Johnny.
cameras in
fairly
his house?
reasonable.
How the fuck do you know Sargon
No,
isn't
no, no,
working
no,
on
I'm
the
gonna
fucking
get credit.
game?
May I
John.
just make an observation here?
Oh my God, my blood pressure's through the roof right now.
Can I just make an observation here?
Tornado on this shit.
I like to make an observation. In the first half hour of this video before you came on, Kelly, the only person being salty was you in the comments section. So don't come here lecturing us about being salty.
For
Are you
fuck's
serious?
sake.
Are you like going? You went on the stream to bitch about GG Revolt, and you were like laughing. You're like, "Oh, look at those."
No,
revolts."
you came on the
then
stream to
you're
bitch about
saying that you're not salty?
Sargon.
This whole stream
I-
wasn't even about you. It was supposed to be me to talk to Sargon.
You made it
But the
about
premise of the game
yourself,
is to
Kelly.
I was going to talk to Sargon because I watched his channel. I wanted to discuss videos he had before and just reminisce on shit like did you get your penis caught in your zipper that he said to fucking Rebecca Watson or calling fucking whatever that pink-haired bitch's name, that chick that basically he said,
Truffle
Piglet
Snipe.
said she was sniffing
Okay,
up for
just
trouble.
because I
Then he's
just
going to come on here
just
and
because I
hijack this
just
shit and not be a fucking douchebag,
Johnny,
yelling at a... Look,
Johnny, stop working.
what?
Calm down. Now, just because
You're
I don't
pissing
like
me off
Sargon, just because I disagree with Sargon,
because you don't fucking listen to anybody. You and Verillo don't fucking listen to anybody.
I listen to you.
Kelly,
like, rant.
It's
Kelly,
my way or the
minutes.
highway. That's bullshit. I ain't gonna listen
Kelly.
to that shit.
Kelly,
Go for it.
talking to you about these matters is like being the wily coyote chasing the roadrunner and then getting hit inside a brick wall.
Not
You know-
really. We've actually come out with we've actually expanded upon some things. For one thing, Sargon didn't we also clarified that Sargon endorsing David Cameron's was more of an extreme, was an unclarified kind of a devil's advocate type position, I would say.
But that had nothing to do with the
Well, it was an
situation
issue.
you were originally arguing
Well, okay.
about.
Consider there was multiple issues here to talk about. There wasn't just one. Trying to pigeonhole it to one issue is disingenuous. I'm not going to say disingenuous, but
Okay,
Go on.
sorry, hang on, guys. Look, I'm going to go in say 10 minutes. So, do you have any other points you want to raise to me quickly, and then you guys can carry on.
okay. I'm going to bring up one more thing. Sargon, why did you compare me to a pedophile? I'm just saying. Come on, dude.
I was gonna ask you that.
Well, why were you trying to do a gotcha craft of a narrative?
It
That's
wasn't a
very
narrative,
that's
it was
very Sarah Butts.
Okay. First off, I included an archive link of the tweet. Secondly, what you did was I found it was just hilarious that you get upset that just someone made a parody account and you basically megaphone to everyone else.
Dude,
that's
I wasn't upset. I think it's funny. That's why I tweet those things.
All right. Well,
I've saved
I
that
said
picture.
you were upset.
Honestly,
but,
I've saved that picture because it's an awesome picture. I used it in a video that same day.
Oh yeah, true. I actually applaud you that you actually decided to basically take a joke.
I actually really like artwork like that people do for me. I really do. You know, I swear I've got a whole folder called fan art, and anything.
The thing is, though, you took it so seriously on Twitter. You basically say, "Keep crafting that salty narrative, John," or not, John.
That's not serious.
You said, "I wonder who is crafting the salty narrative."
I wouldn't use the term salty if I was being serious.
Not sure.
I would.
Might actually be part of a problem, but that's for a more nuanced discussion for another day.
Okay.
The point I'm getting at is like my response to that was just to see that, like, take a screen cap of it, and like there was a bit of a polemic there, where I basically said that you threw Gamergate under the bus, which technically in a certain light it's true, but I also made sure to put in the broken nose emoticon, which
it's a bit melodramatic, isn't it? I mean.
It's just silly. It's like there's a smug anime-faced girl there and everything. You took that. You took it so seriously, and then you just
I didn't, though, John. That's the thing. I wasn't taking it seriously.
The thing is, you had two camps, like in that right, when you basically make it fun on Twitter. You had one camp that was like, why are you like, whoa, John's not a pedophile. That's going a bit too far, man. And the other camp was like, did John diddle kids? And it's just like, to me, I just laughed it off.
I don't think you diddle kids.
No, I don't think you did either. I get what you were trying to say, but it's like.
Yeah, well, I wasn't trying to say that you diddle kids either.
Yeah, that was a bit of a foot and mouth syndrome right there.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that was just. Sorry, I had to bring that up, but.
That's all right. Have you got anything else right now?
That's it for now. You've been surprisingly, like in this particular instance in this conversation, been surprisingly more good faith than say you were at Farrellow.
The thing is that this is what I was saying, right? Before you came on, I was saying that you are a lot more reasonable than he is.
Well, why do you have me blocked on Twitter then?
Oh, because I was sick of dealing with the group of you. You know, man, honestly, right, I'm just a guy with a YouTube channel. You guys talk about me as if I am someone important, as if I'm an institution. I'm just a guy with a YouTube channel. If I'm sick of hearing your crap, I'll block you. That's just the way it's going to happen with people, generally. You know?
Well, if the problem becomes, like for me, and this is something that people have argued with me on, and maybe we should like save this for another time. When it comes to free speech advocacy, you have to be open to listening to other people, even if you don't like them, even if they're acting autistic, etc. So you have to be open to that form of communication. There are practical limits. Like if you just muted me for like whatever duration, or even unfollowed me because you were following me at the time. That'd be perfectly acceptable in my book, and it's not that I'm asking you to follow me or anything like that. Don't get that twisted. And then I wouldn't have any objections to that. Like I tell people, like, look, if you don't want to see me argue with people on Twitter, just mute me and unmute me. It's perfectly fine. I've done that to other people myself because you can't possibly ingest everything all at once. The problem becomes when that person is trying to contact you and you basically siphon off that form of communication, and there's no other form of regress that person has, and you refuse to address the person. That was the issue I had taken with the Ralph retort until we'd settled. We duked it out, and then we basically settled it. Similarly, there have been a number of people who think it's perfectly okay to excise other people because they don't like them, and to basically spin narratives about them, and that's why I see a lot of people.
Look, you guys have got no compunction tagging me in things that are just taking the piss out of me. And don't get me wrong, if you guys want to take the piss out of me, fine, you go ahead. But I'm not obliged to see it. So if I want to block it, and I want to block you guys, I'm completely within my rights to do so. And you've got no right to tell me that I can't.
All right, well,
when you asked me to unblock you, I unblocked you.
Fair enough. I applaud you for that. Hopefully I'll see you on Twitter.
But this is the thing, right? You've got to remember, I'm just a guy. I'm not a business. I'm not like a thing. I don't have a building. I don't have staff. I have me, my computer, this microphone, and my mouth.
Right, but you also have a network.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I have what I've just described.
Yeah, well, what about all those friends you have that follow you around, those YouTube communications? That's part of a network. There's Skype groups, there's DM groups. It's a network. Like, I'm part of networks as well.
What Skype groups?
Not any. I just know Skype groups exist.
But I'm not a part of any Skype groups. I don't check my YouTube messages.
If you're not part of any Skype groups, that'd be surprising in my estimation. But the point,
John, I know I'm not part of any Skype groups.
Well, Like,
John,
okay,
This
you
isn't
don't
some
need to be
Illuminati
Look,
conspiracy, John.
It's
I
not a
sit
conspiracy.
on invisible on Skype all day because I don't want people messaging me, John. I know you don't understand this, but when you have 180,000 people
No, I do
leaving
understand.
notifications on your videos, the last thing you want to do is talk to people. I know
I've
that
actually
sounds
talked to
crazy.
DV Monroe on that particular point.
Right.
There is a
But-
practical limitation to principles. Like, you can't possibly respond to everything, especially someone in your position. That's perfectly
I
understandable.
respond to hardly anything. I've got dozens and dozens of Twitter messages that are just unread, and I know it's dick move, man. But in order to talk to anyone, I can't talk to everyone, and I know that's dickish. I don't check my YouTube notifications. I don't check my messages because it's just far too much. And yeah,
Free speech
Fidget,
is the
fuck
ideal,
yourself,
it's not
man.
the reality.
No,
There are
seriously,
practical
Fidget,
limitations, yes.
fuck yourself. I'm not part of any fucking Skype groups. I don't know what's going on. Someone may have tagged me into something, but I don't check it. I don't know. I don't go on it. I'm always on invisible. So you
Now,
can
keep
go,
in
oh
mind,
my
when I
god,
say-
Sargon's part of some sort of conspiracy, like some of the twat on GG Revolt did. You go ahead. You're just going to make yourselves look idiots.
I never said conspiracy. It's basically conspiracy. Like, unfortunately, has a lot of negative connotations to it, and basically implies something more untoward than what might be going on. So I tend to avoid that word. I would say that there is just basically that there are network. Like, it's not just like there's one big Illuminati Skype group where everyone just goes together and says, "Hey, there's Verillo, fuck him," or whatever. What happens though is people do form these groups, whether it be networks. It doesn't even have to be a specific group in particular. It just has to be friends helping friends helping friends. And you can see why someone like me might have a problem with that. Like, might be skeptical of that and be, putting people's feet to the fire.
Yeah, but what have my friends helped me to do?
Let's see.
Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends.
Yeah, no,
You
seriously.
specifically, I can't, like, unfortunately at this time, I can't think of anything that you specifically
Yeah.
did in collusion with them, but I can bring up examples. For example,
Well, no, if you can't think of anything I've done, don't, because it's not going to involve me.
Well, I was curious that basically you did receive a very odd tweet from Nicholas Garoff, basically saying, "Oh, well, that guy's just a lolcow in the making. DM me, fam." That was really odd.
Yeah, Nicholas Garoff is a friend of mine.
It's fine.
He's one of the few people. You know who are my actual friends because I also have them on Facebook. The people who are my actual friends, I have on Facebook. And Nicholas Garoff is one of those guys because we're actually buddies. I really like him. He's a really nice guy.
Right. Well, in this specific instance, I can't think of any narrative crafting that you've done with other people. On your own, yeah, with the GG Revolt stuff. It's been gone over
None
ad
of it
infinitum.
is narrative crafting. Right, none of it. Now, I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what? Actually, something I do want to bring up.
Oh,
Okay. Firstly, why are you all chummy with Robin Gething all of a sudden? Like, that guy has done some really shady shit. That's the first and foremost thing. And the reason I specifically bring that up
really
in this...
done? I mean, I saw him. I watched a stream with you and him in, and he was like, "What have I actually done?" And you couldn't really pin anything on him. So
That one,
I was just shrugging, man.
Okay,
I was just
that
like,
one, as I told you previously, I apologize for it, but I didn't say that
since he
everything was
fucking
wrong.
tweeted the link to the stream that he was on, I haven't actually spoken to him because I'm actually really kind of pissed off about it.
All right. Well, the reason I brought that up specifically in this instance was because there was a video he made saying that basically he went, like, there's no argument here. He went ethics cucks all the way. He basically self-identified as one. He said it's only about ethics, and he made up this term called anti-SJW, which is it's not a practical term because all it means is
Yeah,
anti-hypocrite.
but you know the term ethics
opinion.
cuck just sounds childish, right? It's
you look for the term scrub?
Like, look, right? Either one sounds childish. I don't care which one you use. I'm trying to explain to you when you guys use it, other people look at you and think, "Oh, I'm not having any of that." This kind of gets us to the whole, everyone else has made us radioactive. No, you guys have spoken, everyone else has heard you and gone, why are these guys acting this way?
If they're paying attention more to appearance as opposed to substance, I can't really help them. Most
No,
people
they're
are.
listening to the substance.
No, that's not listening to substance. Like, oh no, the term ethics sucks. Ethics cucks real offends me.
We got you now, Kelly.
That's just the straw that breaks the camel's back, man.
Well, the thing about ethics cucks is it's deliberately meant to be cringe-inducing. But the point I'm getting at with this is you endorsed that video where basically says that we have to be only about ethics, and that really was the point where people were like,
I'm only interested in discussing ethics. I've made the reason for it clear.
okay, but that video specifically called for the pushing out of anyone who wanted to talk about anything else. That's the problem.
Which video are we talking about?
If you don't want to win the war, if you don't want to win the battle, you have in order to win the battle, like I forget what it was called. If you want to win, you have to give up the war, something like that. Which I forget what title he made it.
You'll have to send me it.
I'll send you a link to it later on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I'll even link to your specific comment in question where you basically.
Yeah, sure, no, sure.
Yeah, a lot of people took issue with that because Gething wasn't just like Gething wasn't just discouraging people from talking about SJWs, which I would classify as an ethics cuck. I'm not sure if Barlow would, but I try to use terms consistently and accurately. If I'm failing in that, then I own up to that. Well, okay, in this case, I wasn't. Point is, that guy decided that everyone else in this particular camp in this group, get rid of him. And he also did a famous stream called "Why Chan Culture Poisons Everything," and it was the stupidest thing. Like it was the stupidest thing. Like even going over the whole shady business dealings with Steve Tom Sawyer and all that stuff. That was like the dumbest thing he could have done. And even people in his own circles were like, "Why the hell did you do that?" He tried to tap dance around it by saying, "Oh, well, I was making a message about how Anons need to basically, own up to like."
Okay, man, but that's something you'll have to bring up with him, really, isn't it? I
really don't know what Gething has to do with any of this. Personally.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's part of Sargon's little network. That's the problem.
No,
he's not.
Hang on, John. I don't have a network.
This isn't some Illuminati network conspiracy where Sargon is behind the scenes manipulating everything and everyone. All right.
Well, what's fit for the
he has his friends, but he doesn't have a
No,
network.
John, I'm telling you, that's not the case. Okay, I'm directly saying to your face, I don't have some sort of secret network where I talk about you. Believe me, there's a reason I have you, Varelo, and the rest blocked, so I don't have to hear about you. And every now and again, Veal messaged me on Skype going, "Oh, Varelo's written a new article about you, check this," and I'm like, for fuck's sake. And literally, I always say, why does anyone give him any time?
Yeah, that goes against cultural libertarian maxim 1 about no idea. It's too radical.
No, I'm just sick.
Oh my God! Enough of these cultural libertarian.
I am just sick of your shit,
Kelly.
Do you understand? Okay. You've got nothing to pin on me. I have been as honest as I can be, and you're just unbased, giving me the accusation that I'm somehow conspiring with people against you. Man, just give it the fuck up.
I didn't say conspiracy, and I didn't say you're conspiring against me. I just said you're crafting narratives and you are networking.
Dude. Okay, whatever, man. You believe what you want. You've got no evidence for any of this, so your conjecture.
It's hard to find out what people are saying in private conversation, and the reason why it's so hard to do this is
people are allowed
way
to
you could
have
possibly find out what's going on in private.
Kelly, all you're doing is distracting and giving us a circular argument at this point.
And you're introducing thought-terminating cliches whenever it's convenient. So.
No, I'm not. Please, don't lecture me and don't insult my intelligence.
You insulted my intelligence plenty, Charming. Sorry.
Really?
No one needs to insult your intelligence.
Really,
It's pretty fucking evident.
I lampooned you. It's a difference.
Okay, here's the problem with this. The problem is when people speculate about GG Revolt doing this, GG Revolt doing this, and saying they're networking behind the scenes or doing all this, that's considered perfectly okay. But then when we go ahead and just say that, some other people, various camps, I'm not claiming that all of them are all in on it or all of them play the same narratives. There's various narratives that are played out throughout all this. Are doing the same thing. They say that's tinfoil, that's conspiracy theory. How dare you talk about this?
Because you've been talking about tinfoil stuff.
Okay, well, if it is tinfoil,
you just said that Sargon is part of some kind of network. That's like Kevin Logan saying he's a secret right-winger.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, people have accused me of being a left-winger erroneously, but regardless.
Yeah.
To your point, Charming. Let's take it to its logical conclusion.
Okay, well, hang on. I'm going to head off now, so...
All right.
Thanks, guys, for having me on. Johnny...
Sargon, we'll have a proper talk later, and I have something I need to say to John Kelly before Sargon leaves.
Okay, go ahead.
John Kelly, got something to say to you, man. And I think I speak on behalf of all of Sargon's fans and all of Sargon's detractors in the chat right now. You ready for this?
Go for it. I don't...
Yeah! Fired!
What? That doesn't make any sense. I don't work for you, and you don't speak for me, so.
And you can go fuck yourself.
God. I wanted to call you out.
Suck a dick. Later.
Okay.
Anyway, take it.
And he's gone. You're fired.
We will do another stream another time.
Yes, thank God. Jesus Christ, this wasn't what supposed to happen. But
man, I don't know what else. The bit about you're doing the Kickstarter was a bad business move. Are you kidding?
Oh my god.
Seemed like a great business move. I mean, it didn't work, but it's
Sargon, go drink some whiskey and take a nice long nap.
Yeah, well, I can't do whiskey with a condition in my throat. But
Spend time with the family. John Kelly ain't worth it.
Yeah, just.
But yeah, don't let it be fucking said that I don't do my fucking best. Anyway, but yeah, we'll do another hangout sometime, man, and just so we can actually shoot the shit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually do what the whole point of this was.
Yeah, but I mean, hopefully that at least keep them quiet for a day or two until they've got a new conspiracy theory. But yeah, anyway, take it easy, guys, and thanks for the shit posting chat. See you later, guys.
Thank you, Sargon.
Oh.
Hello, beautiful.
Hello, Bay.
Does anybody in the chat want to come in here?
I think, what was his name? The guy with the beard.
Let's bring some people in here because I didn't want the only reason I didn't bring anybody in here while Sargon was here because I wanted those two to fight, to pretty much fight it out, and I didn't want anybody else getting their mouth in it.
We really should have given them half an hour.
Well, I mean, I wanted to do just the shooting the shit with Sargon because I like his stuff and he seems like a really legit nice guy and all that shit. But of course, this fucking happened.
You know what? I thought, being the arrogant cunt that I am, that we'd all be talking about my video and how nice it was. But oh well.
Yeah, I mean, look, Kelly got in the chat. Sargon requested it. He's a guest of honor, and if he wanted to speak with Kelly, that's fine. If his fans wanted to hear it, that's fine. I'm all for letting people just come in here and shoot the shit. But I wanted to let those two have their WrestleMania match, and then I would give them the "You're fired" like I've been promising everybody on Twitter. Because I kept on posting that meme of "You're fired" to anybody that got on my nerves lately, and I thought I would give that to him. And since he was so stupid, he didn't even get it. Oh no, here we go. We're gonna bring in Habib. I'll keep you if you want, Charming Man.
I can stay for a bit longer.
Okay, so I'm bringing in Habib, which is a friend of mine that was on the first open house. That was had quite a few things to say. Though I really enjoyed him coming in. I'm letting Mornblade in because he really needs to get in here. The precious kitty cat.
When you did that punchline, right? That was such an autistic reaction. I'm not even laughing. I've got Asperger's, and I was like, "Damn, Kelly, damn."
All I want to do is run a fucking news show, and I guess that's what the news is now. I do gamer games, and next thing you know, I'm having a fucking battle royal, and everybody in the chat's on Sargon's side is fucking, hey, look at the kitty cats in here now.
You tear me apart, Mornblade.
I missed it. I was away out, and I joined the stream just as...
hello.
Hello.
Hi. Just as the Mad Fox went off on one, so I kind of joined it.
Honestly,
a bit late.
He accused us of being social justice warriors. That whole argument was pretty much what social justice warriors do. Kevin Logan does that kind of argumentation where it's just a load of conspiratorial bullshit, and then accuses someone.
Hey, Mornblade, did you hear the "You're fired" though?
Yeah,
that was epic, man.
Before it was when you were going nuts. I had joined it, and then
you joined right at the perfect time, man. When I finally just had enough of this bullshit because it's going on for an hour.
Can I clear up?
He's complaining in the chat already. Kicking me from the stream was poor.
Leave him to me, lads. Leave him to me.
Fuck you, John Kelly. Suck a dick.
In
front of 100 people, fuck you. If you don't like me, suck a dick and block me like you said you were going to.
The Skype cabal thing is funny because there is Skype things going about and you just get added to them. You don't have to do anything, man. You just get added to them. If you're doing streams and stuff and people notice you and you start giving them your Skype ID, like join, like the radio one. I used to use Skype to do the radio, now I'm using Hangouts because it was a wee bit easier, but I might go back to Skype sometimes, it depends. But now that my thing was out there and people had it, I just got added to like 3 or 4 different Skype chat things. I don't even have half time look at it. I'm not even on Skype most of the time. So I know where Sargon's coming from. It doesn't mean there's a fucking conspiracy going on or we're all working together to do shit. We just we don't even look at it. Sometimes it's just stuff about
Warrenblade, literally that's what it boils down to. If you like Sargon, you're an ethics cuck. That's what he was trying to say.
Well,
that's the whole problem. Did you hear what John Kelly was trying to come at me for? You didn't tell me that we weren't going to do the interview today. Look, Sargon came, he wanted to talk, and then I gave John Kelly his fucking platform, so he has nothing to bitch about.
I don't know what it was all about. As I say, I missed it.
It's a bunch of bullshit. That's what it's about.
Well, I know, because that's what...
I mean, here's the thing.
Him
Like,
and
the
Val
whole...
do the same thing all the time. That's all they do. They just create drama, and they've got this theory about stuff, and it isn't the way it works. It just isn't, and they just annoy people, and then people block them, and then they think it's because you're silencing them, and they build this narrative that just isn't one.
It's fucking psychotic, man. And I mean, it's just this shit really just pisses me off because I mean the whole point was to get Sargon on here so we could talk about the game, shoot the shit, talk about my show, talk about his show, talk about just episodes that he's done that I thought were hilarious, and take questions from the chat and stuff like that. Then Prick Muffin wanted to come in here and spout his bullshit. And then, of course, I did at least get my "you're fired" in there, so I'm happy. At least I got that was about the only that's probably about as much dialogue as I got in that whole conversation once Kelly joined was "you're fired."
I was feeling a bit sorry for you for having to deal with all that crap, man. I mean, I would have exploded way before you did. I mean,
well, I mean, my chat, the 82 people still watching, was I justified for yelling at John Kelly and saying what I said to him?
I mean, here's the thing. Like, when he was going on and on about Kickstarter and the refunds, I'm like, what? Kickstarter is not a pre-order platform. You just kickstart projects that you find interesting, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. If it happens, great. There is no ethical reason for refunding a Kickstarter, because you know what? That money goes into the development of the game. That money is already spent. It's not even there. What are you refunding anyway?
Exactly. If people want a refund, though, I don't see why you wouldn't give them one, unless the money has already been spent.
As far as I know, no one from Sargon's backers demanded a refund.
Well, then it's fine.
Exactly.
Well, then there's nothing to refund because no one wants one.
Yeah.
It's just
It's fucking psychotic is what it blows up to. I mean, they want to bitch, and the reason that I even bothered to even talk to John Kelly was because I knew that he was the one giving Verlo the reach around pretty much anytime he did something. I was like, you know what, John Kelly seems like the one that would at least talk to me more sensibly and not explode like Verlo generally does. Well, it really boils down to I didn't want to talk to either one of the bastards because after last night, after he tried to accuse me of basically sucking off Sargon to get on his show, which technically Sargon's on my show, and if it was his show, we'd have over 1,000 people watching. But, I mean, that's not the point. The point was I talked to the opposite side. I had to talk to Sargon to get his fucking story because that's the point. You don't want a one-sided argument, do you?
When my video went live and he saw it, he told me that I should be unbiased, like South Park. It's like, what? South Park unbiased? You having a laugh, mate? Just because they take the mickey out of both liberals and conservatives does not mean they're unbiased. They hate both equally. They said that.
To be honest, I hate fucking everyone equally, so you can all suck my dick.
Well, I really hate you, you little fucking cat.
You're just a cat. You're just a cat.
Asshole cat.
Anyway,
hello, Queenie.
Fucking with you guys.
Hi, Queenie.
Hi, Queenie.
How you guys doing?
Don't ask.
My head is killing me right now, and I need a lot of whiskey. Does anyone want to pitch in? Does anyone want to pay me on my Kickstarter for me to actually be able to afford some liquor?
I don't even have a Kickstarter.
Oh, that might be unethical, though.
If you don't get it, or if you get it delayed, that would be unethical.
Yeah, I'm going to delay my getting liquor so I can be called unethical. Oh my God, that was just the most...
Johnny,
yeah.
Can I invite a friend in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, he's in. I just sent him a link.
Okay, I got different people, so somebody might try to come in before that. So many people are trying to ask right now. I can only have like 7 people on at once, so everybody, you gotta. If you're Russian, you'll get in. If not, you don't. That's all it is to it at this point.
If you're V, you get special VIP.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we have the.
Shut
Hello
up, Verity!
everybody!
Shut up, Verity! Shut up, Verity!
Shut up, Birdie! Shut up, that pesky envelope!
Get a damn chicken, damn it! I've said it a million times. Beat the chicken and to call it freaking Verlo so I can go cook. Shut up, Verity!
Shut up!
Hello, everyone.
Oh god, big
Hello.
one,
Is this the
bro.
Master
He's
Troll,
a
Max,
trip.
or is that somebody else?
That's this Max Dagger. Then we have Super coming in here.
Ah, it's a party now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now to
This
slay the
thing-
dragon known as Varilo.
This stream needs more communism.
Yes, it does. It needs more cuckery because I haven't seen any all day.
I angered a load of right-wingers on Twitter last night.
Jesus. How did everybody like the "You're fired"?
That was great. I laughed.
I had to do it, man.
I knew
I
you
was-
were.
I've been waiting to say that to one of them for so damn long.
I'm
You know
surprised you
what?
could tell me doing my impression of him to his face.
I'm now a bit sad, Johnny, because just when you were exploding at fucking John Kelly, my potato started fucking up and the fucking audio just cut off entirely.
God damn it.
Well, it's
You
gonna
would've
be on
skipped
here,
it.
so you can watch it. It's gonna be on the channel, so you can watch the whole damn thing all over again if you want.
See,
By the way,
I'm really.
donate to my Patreon.
You know what? This has really done well for me and
Everybody
Johnny.
donate to my Patreon so I can go and buy via chicken.
Your
that he can-
Patreon,
that he
Johnny,
can-
is so unethical. It's not even funny because I know
So
for a fact
everybody
you will not
donate
do
at
anything
least
to
$3
Sarkisian.
to the Patreon so I can get
If
fucking
the
via
next
chicken
two-
that he can call Barlow.
You know, the next 2 people who subscribe to my channel will get some favors because then it'll be 200. Ah.
Sexual
Oh.
favors.
Do we get
Oh, man.
Does that apply to cats?
I'm not Sarah Butts, even though that was dogs.
Damn it, I'll not bother then. I'll not bother then.
Oh wow.
Well, to be fair, I have no limbs, so, you know.
Speaking
That's
of
true.
None
which-
shall pass.
By
My
the way,
bridge to poison the well.
By the way, Mornblade, your accent is just fucking adorable.
Thank you.
If you like hearing it, go to aerithradio.co.uk because that's where you can hear all of us yelling at each other late at night.
Yeah, and I get drunk, so yay.
Johnny, if you want,
True Scotsman.
if you want more Patreon shekels, you should make like yelling at John Kelly a goal. Like I don't know, $1.
I'll yell at him the whole damn time. Donate $1. I'll yell at him. I'll probably use all the fucking Patreon money to fix my throat after that. But
I think you should do a compilation video and probably upload it to Pornhub under community. I'm sure a lot of people did actually got up to that.
Someone just said in the chat, search for favors.
that's
just-
right.
That's for favorites.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's right, because Charming Man, he is the Zoe Quinn of Aerith Radio, damn it.
Oh, yeah.
He will suck you up for subscribers.
I'm dark and mysterious. Come at me, Braz. There's a reason why the Beatles song "Come Together" over me.
How many patrons will you have to blow?
Only those 2 who sign up to make 200.
And
Wow.
then
So you
some
will-
viral-
Oh no, I'm already subscribed. That's not fair.
You're a cat anyway, so
I know, but you said you would do it for anyone.
anyone who will sign up, not anyone who's already signed up.
I know that's where I fail. It's not
And that's
fair.
just why you failed, Kitty Cat.
John Kelly wanted it, which was why I was probably.
God damn it!
being very
I don't ever
nice.
want to hear his name again. I'm so tired of hearing the shit. Listen to that bullshit. I've had to listen to Verilo now for 2 hours. I had to listen to John Kelly for God knows how long, screaming as Sargon for something fucking retarded. I had to read all 5 of Verilo's articles leading up to even talking to the bastard. And now he's pissed off that saying that, oh, you're a fan of Sargon now, so you're unethical because you fucking used me to get to him. I'm like, no, I kind of just sent Sargon. Actually, let's be honest. Sargon has to be on my show. To be honest, I mean, I said I can show the fucking DM. He goes, I'll gladly do your show anytime you want. I said, all right, well, let's do it tomorrow. And then once Verilo found that out, he got pissed off, of course. I didn't say Sargon will fuck you off if you be on my show and gave me 100 more subscribers.
Oh god.
I didn't do any of that shit.
You know what? He was so beautifully salty in that chat. So beautifully salty.
Dude, I told him if you're pissed off at me and you think I'm a fucking cuck, now write a goddamn article on me. I'll read it.
Also, as the guy whose first language is completely not English, I am personally offended at anyone who claims to be a fucking journalist and uses "you" as a word.
What?
Varelo said he was a blogger.
I mean, I can kind of understand it on Twitter when you're conserving it because you're trying to make a fucking verbal diarrhea out of 150 characters. That's hard.
Mm-hmm.
But on fucking YouTube, where there's no limit anymore, you have no excuse, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Also, people, like, the leftovers in the chat are comparing Sargon to Anita because her Anita doesn't keep fucking delivery goals from Kickstarter 2. And her case. Yeah, here's the thing. Anita Sarkeesian is, by now, completely uninterested in fucking finishing your Kickstarter.
Mm.
I mean, maybe she'll fucking shit out a video or two when her noticing meter just starts dropping down. You know,
It's more convenient for her as well.
Yeah, when Senpai stops noticing her, that's when she drops a new fucking video. It's fucking clockwork like that. Sargon is trying to make, a game with an incomplete crew. Also, Sargon got like $6,000. What the fuck is $6,000?
Well, part of Varilo's argument when he was on my stream, sorry to shill, but I did do the 2 hours this up. He basically said part of the reason that he was pissed off at Sargon's whole thing with actually having the fucking Patreon and all that was the fact that he says he's coding it in Unity, so therefore Unity, the one he's using, is free. Well, he didn't have to buy the pro version. Why the fuck not? Well, look, he didn't have to, but who gives a shit? I mean, no one put a gun to Varilo's head and say, "Here, pay for his game, pay for the game." He didn't do that. But I mean, it was who the fuck? And then Varelo tripped himself up. He's like, "I've worked for multiple studios." Remember when he said that on Sargon's thing? Well, and then he told me this job he just got. He's like, "Well, this is my first real gig." I'm like, "Well, fuck." Okay. I was like, you know what? I was like, fucking hell. So what the hell did you do before this? Since you told Sargon you've worked for companies, you know he'd get fired. How the fuck do you know? You never worked for one. He never told me what game he worked on, by the way. And I mean, I'm just sitting here like literally the whole time.
It was John Kelly's game.
Yeah, this is the thing. So I hurt my back at work, right? So of course that means that I got painkillers that actually can do me, pretty well up top. That's probably about the only reason I was able to not scream at Varelo the whole time, because I was just kind of la land at that point. But I was like, fuck it, just let him hang himself, and people will listen to it, since you know how Gamergate is. They'll fine-tooth comb anything, and they'll, I don't even need to argue with him. He'll call his own arguments, because he did. And now he's bitching saying he didn't say that. Well, why didn't he put a fucking time code to where he didn't say that? Oh my god!
That question that is actually not a bad question, but still it's kind of silly. So why do you take Sargon's word for it but not Anita's? Well, there is a reason for that. Because Sargon is still working on his game, and we've got proof that he is, because sometimes he puts videos up of him doing stuff.
You know what, Mornblade? I'll take you that and raise you this. Sargon actually responds to his critics.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, let me make a point really quick. All right, to anybody that's in the chat,
took the time of day he came on here. He got completely fucking sidetracked, but he didn't fucking shy away from this. He wasn't like, security, take away this fucking throw. Oh, hi, Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Anyway,
what's going on, Matt?
As I was saying, he doesn't go like,
look,
please take this plebeian away from my glorious emperor throne, because we all know that $6,000 bought him a life-size replica of the Golden Throne.
Hi, Matt. Turn off that pesky ad block.
Yeah.
He actually responds to his critics, and does it to even an annoying point. Like, some people are already like saying, dude, just maybe, I don't know, just go do something else. It's like hitting a brick wall. No, Sargon will keep responding to his detractors, and that's what you have to respect about the guy.
Well,
Yep.
here's the thing. Let me point something out. This whole thing was all a culmination of basically Verlo kept saying, he said during my stream with him when it was just me versus him basically where he was talking, he said that Sargon made a video called something about character assassination, right? And he told me on the stream saying that basically that video was him saying that he will not face any more people that disagree with him, which is bullshit. What he said was he's not going to listen to a bunch of character assassination, not saying that he would never debate anybody. And to prove my point, literally, and Sargon knows me, literally right after he followed me back, I said, dude, it's just a ruse. I was just trying to prove a point to him. I said, Sargon, I'm taking issue now with how you face your detractors. Will you come on my show? He goes, sure, when do you want to do it? That was to prove the point that, yes, he will face his detractors even if he doesn't know that, it's just a ruse. But then, after that, I was talking to him a little bit on between the DMs, and he said, well, I'll be glad to do your show anyway, even though, for whatever reason. I said, okay, we'll do it. And then Kelly got in here and blew up for 2 fucking hours. But that's the whole thing. Verlo is so conceited and so in his own fucking bubble that he thinks that I had to have him on my show to get Sargon's attention to get him on here versus just saying, hey, Sargon, want to be on NHB.
Yeah, I mean, I did try to watch your video with Verlo. And to be honest, after like 10 minutes, I was like, this is just too much stupid. I'm just going to go. And you remember, like, I added one question in the chat.
At least you
and my question exactly was like, he was just talking about like how we should just fight SJWs left and right. And I was like, so just because someone is a SJW, does that make them inherently untrustworthy? And he was like, with a straight face, yeah. Just because they're untrustworthy. And I'm like, well, I don't need to listen to this guy anymore because he would just put that label on anyone to just discredit them. Like, it's the classic ad hominem. Like, yeah, you're an SJW, I can't trust you.
Habib, this is where you're going to be probably sad, but in a way, I agree with that, but with a caveat that I am going to be very, very fucking stingy who I call an SJW. It's like
Simon, you're not very low. He's throwing SJW at everyone.
Yeah, this is kind of like the paradox. Even when he said like, "Oh, Robin getting made up like anti-SJW," well, this is kind of the case. You people are doing to fucking SJW the same thing that the feminazis did to rape and misogyny. You're doing the exact same thing. You're making it meaningless by using it on everything.
Calling people to discredit social justice warriors or e-celebs or whatever is a new type of shield paranoia. All these like buzzwords that they throw around. It's pretty much the same thing that started Gamergate when people started complaining about getting called, misogynist and violent and, possible mass murderers, like all these different things. It's like my boyfriend says that all the time. They are like the same side of a different coin, like, but they are the same, Yeah,
the difference is that the right-wing version of the SJW is just like very, very fucking. It's not prevalent. I'm gonna say, because you tell them to say what you want about the right-wingers, but a vast majority of them actually have nuts. They don't get fucking offended easily, and they don't just rely on pure character assassination most of the time. They're stupid. They're set in their ways, but
I think that's because they learned years ago that they can't do all that.
Carry on.
No, I finished. That was my point.
That's it. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Cannabis said that addressing his detractors does not mean like that he's still working on it. I'll give you that. That is a valid point, Cannabis. But you also have to, some of these things you have to just take on your your gut feelings. Because when I listen to Sargon, whenever he's talking about his game, those rare occasions that he has the fucking time to talk about his game, when he's describing what we're gonna do with this, I actually hear fucking passion in his voice, and I can just feel that he's either a fucking grade A actor, which means that 6K quid is probably shit money for him because he can just get an acting job anywhere else for more money,
Somebody giving him an Oscar.
or he's genuinely invested in his project. When you look at Sarkeesian, she couldn't give any fucking fucks about tropes versus women in video games. All she cares about is relevance and shekels rolling in. And you can tell by the way
what Jonathan McIntosh's mom's name is.
Like, can I say
Mrs. McIntosh?
No, I'm saying, is her name Peggy McIntosh? Has anyone figured that out yet?
No.
Well, the thing is, Peggy McIntosh wrote an article that was like the 25 benefits of living while male or something. It sounded a lot like Jonathan's, and I was thinking that basically that brings me to believe that if that is his mother, that basically
What if it's his female
McIntosh
side?
has his hand up Anita's ass, and then Peggy has her hand up Jonathan's ass, and then Jonathan's daddy has his hand up both of their ass. It's like a human centipede of bullshit.
No, Johnny, this is what it actually is. This is how far the rabbit hole goes. Peggy is actually his pseudonym. That's his
That's his
feminine
Norma,
side.
that's his Norma Bates thing going on. Is that what it is?
He's gender non-binary. Not a lot of people knew that.
I'm actually,
No.
I will actually believe that.
The cannabis guy wants in the stream, so if I disappear, you can
Also-
get him in.
Don't leave us, kitty.
Don't leave us, Kitty.
No, don't leave
We need your
us.
iron brew.
Shut
It's
up,
stay
kitty.
forever.
Kitty.
I brought tacos for
Let's go get a new
you.
thing on the
Look,
radio.
look,
Shut up,
look.
Kitty.
Look, you can all find me on ADF Radio on a Friday night. How about that? And then
Of course,
You
you
should get back
just
there.
follow me on Twitter and
Just-
you'll see me show the link like hell. So
Just answer this last question, Mornblade. Where is the bottle of Scrumpy?
the bottle of Scrumpy.
Sounded wrong.
I don't drink Scrumpy Jack in the cider. I don't like cider. I like beer. Beer's good.
Ugh.
Yes, it's fantastic. That's what I need right now.
I've got one.
I wish I had.
I need a drink.
Beer, man.
Seriously,
Somebody
I'm-
give
Yeah.
cannabis
Go
the
beyond.
link.
I'm just
Somebody
gonna
give
finish
cannabis
that
the link and let people just get in here, I guess.
Go
Um,
to play a game,
I was gonna say something.
drink the rest of my beer, and then look. Tweet me if you want on the Friday night show. See if I can get you in, because I can get in a shitload of people. So yeah, I can get people in on Skype. I can fill up the Skype hangout. I can fill up the Google Hangout. I can fill up 10 people on Mumble, and they can all connect. I think it's never been tried, but in theory it works. So you can have a party if that's what you want.
You're telling me apart, Kitty.
You know what? You know what? I just realized that in like over a year of this shit going on, I haven't been part of a single Skype group.
Me neither. I feel left out.
Well, I got invited to Ralph's thing once when I asked him if I could pair, the Ralph we taught, and that was on Skype. But that's just his way of using it, his way of streaming. So I think that's the closest I ever got. But I've never been on a Skype group. I didn't even know they existed. I was just like, what's
No, they're
that?
They're not called
Trailers.
Skype. They're
What
not
is
called Skype
Skype?
groups. They're networks. You
Oh,
said
yeah.
network.
The
Yes.
networks, conspiracy, sex for
Back in
favors.
the day, there were the secret Skype calls. So I
secret-
remember that because I made those Skype calls, and then I would invite people by tweeting about them. And then there would be people saying they're secret and they're talking things to destroy Gamergate. And like,
You heard it here, folks. Game GG Pros exposed.
yes. I felt really nostalgic when that was mentioned in the stream, to be honest. I was like, aw, people remember. Aw.
No, there is
Well,
like
I read the Queenie article and I was just like, what the hell is this fucking
Ooh, Kelly's
spare-paced
streaming.
Encyclopedia Dramatica bullshit? And I asked him at one point, he's like, no, it's not supposed to sound like that. I said, is this supposed to sound like an Encyclopedia Dramatica
No,
article?
Let me tell you something, alright? I have mad respect for Encyclopedia Dramatica. We're cool with each other, alright? That thing that he wrote was a gossip blog. There's no other way to see it. It was just gossip blog. Everything he talked about not only was just his opinions, but mainly like taking things out of context and just throwing insults to make a cheap joke. That was it. It's a gossip blog. That's what he has. And he runs a gossip blog about people in Gamergate who have refused to promote his work. That's just how it is, because at the end of the day, the first encounter that I had with him was that he was sending me via Twitter his videos. I had no idea who the hell he was, but he constantly sent me these videos that were supposedly a parody video, and they were just boring as fuck. Like, I didn't find them funny, and I'm the type of person that I'm not gonna promote something that I don't like, so I ignored it until he finally got my attention with the forum shit that he had. And the thing that really upset him was that when he finally got my attention, I didn't invite him to a hangout. I invited somebody else, and then the admin of the forum to sort things out. And that's when he started calling me a social justice warrior, and that I had to prove to him that I wasn't, and like things like that. I was like, what are you even talking about? Like 5 minutes ago you were sending me your videos for me to watch them, and now you're like calling me a social justice warrior?
You know what makes me laugh really hard is the fact that he says Queenie is well, he called you. I'm not going to say it because it's a racist term for people that are Latino, but you know which one I'm talking about, because he said
I
it in the
can
article.
guess a lot of them, but let's
Yeah, well, just take your pick. He used about all of them, but basically, I said, look, I was thinking to myself, he's talking, saying, well, she's insert the racist word here, and so am I, because my name is Julio or whatever, so I can make fun of her. It's completely cool. I'm like, okay, so I'm white. That means that I can call Mitch a fucking cracker, and
I'm not a cracker.
all this shit about him. Call this the fucking Black Knight looks like a complete wanker, cracker, whatever the hell a white racist term is, and it's fine. Of course it's fine. No, I can talk shit about anybody as long as they're white. That makes sense. Whatever.
I ain't white, though.
Wynn got it right there. I'm not going to use the word, but Wynn got it right there which one it was, dealing with a certain type of bean. But what's going on, Lisa? You're tearing us apart, Lisa!
I think
to say hi.
I just think it's all about the intent,
What fuck was that, Lisa?
Hey, Mitch, she agrees with me. You are adorable.
Who is that?
It's a friend of mine.
Oh, hello, girl.
Come
like
to Charming Man 93.
I am your Black Knight.
Affirmative action, the feminists attack.
Oh, hi. Fellow Asian, yay!
Yeah, he's partially Asian, so. Yeah, you're gonna see a dog running around here at some point. Diesel, say hi. Stop sniffing me there.
Shut up, doggy.
Shut up, Verdi.
They've never seen him before, and I'm like, okay, we've got to watch it now.
Lisa, you're gonna love it, because you know what I did to John Kelly?
Oh, geez.
He came.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Let her watch it. Let her watch it.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but basically, he came on here like, okay, me and Sargon were supposed to just talk about just the game and just shoot the shit right. Well, John Kelly got in the chat and got all butthurt that he wasn't part of this. So Sargon said, go ahead and bring him in, and then they had like a big ass fucking argument. And it was glorious, but at the same time, after about an hour, I was like, all right, I'm getting tired of this shit. And I was like, all right, enough, damn it. And then I started yelling at Kelly and cussed him out and all that shit, and got mad as fuck and started yelling, and finally it just turned into a fucking royal rumble between Mitch and me and Sargon and Kelly, and Verla's in the chat cheering him on like a good Pokemon trainer that he is, and all that good shit. That's what the fuck he was. Yeah, go Kelly, use Thunderbolt.
Oh.
The whole time, like, Jesus.
Okay, but seriously though, Mitch, I don't know if you are aware of this, but someone posted your little video about Verlo on Kotaku in action.
Oh yes, I do know who did it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm proud of you, hon. I told you the people would love that.
Oh yeah.
What can I say?
Hi everyone, I'm Cannabis Curtis. I was really interested in your guys' points. Personally, I'm not a Sargon fanboy. I'm not with GG Revolt. I'm not with GGHQ. I'm pro Gamergate, but this issue about Sargon and his Kickstarter, I wouldn't care less, but I find this very interesting. Okay,
It is pretty interesting.
Anita Sarkeesian, for example, had a Kickstarter to raise money for her Feminist Frequency project. Okay, I can say this about Anita. Wait, Anita. I can say, many of you say, oh, Sargon's working on it. Okay. Well, I can use that same logic of taking someone's word for it and apply it to Anita Sarkeesian. I can say, well, she released some videos. She hasn't reached her goal in time, but hey, she's working on it. Who
Can
cares
I
if
say
she's
something about that?
Drop that
ahead.
and start on a completely different one like Anita did. She's not even done with tropes and gaming, tropes versus women, and she's already starting other series. So
I think that really what boils down to is, that argument is valid, to say, well, you're giving him a benefit of the doubt because there's a bias, obviously. Like, that goes without saying. But I think that, I mean, to me at least, what makes me upset about the whole campaign is not the fact that she had a Kickstarter. If anything, as we have discussed as well with Sargon, the backers should be the ones to push the project and to talk about the timing, not the people outside. Like, we can have an opinion of it, of course, but I think that the ones that actually have to push it are the people who funded the projects of Sargon and of Feminist Frequency. But I think that the difference here is that for the project of Feminist Frequency was with the promise that the original content, would be uploaded to YouTube in this educational manner, and what people got from those videos were usually a narrative that was mainly taken out of context to support a certain ideology, and take, different bits of pieces. First of all, not even video gameplay that they recorded themselves, but take it from different Let's Players on YouTube, and taking the content and putting in their videos to make these points, again, out of context. And I think that's mainly what got people upset, the fact that they took so many things and made whatever they wanted with it, other than, oh, they haven't finished the project. There is that, of course, but I think it's more of what the lies that the videos promotes about gaming culture. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Well, I understand your point, but
Look on his face right there. My God.
Well, here's my point. Some people think that Anita is a do, and I've debated lots of social justice warriors on their own forums, because there's a lot of forums that are dominated by them that still hell even allow neo-Nazis on there, unless you have to follow a certain set of rules. So then, here's the point. What Anita is doing now, I'm torn by this because many people divide social justice warriors between like true believer people and from the money. I really can't tell from this point from Anita's perspective, but I know she falls in the camp of SJW. But here's the point: I've taken college classes. And one time when I was in high school, I decided to take a women's studies class, and video games weren't really talked about, but Anita's narrative was promoted in those classes. So according to some people, she is educating people. She is pointing them out about that. And we could point out that she isn't, but according to some people, she is.
She is infecting an already thick system. Is more like it.
I don't think the point is like the word education itself and what it means, but more what the quality of education itself. Like if when I was in college, there was like these several subjects that you have to go through, and you have no option to take them or not. They just have to go through, right? And it was like this class about that mixed a lot of like humanity, social things, and religion. And as an atheist, a lot of the things that was brought up from the teacher to me were nonsense and were unscientific and were like completely out of context. So I did had a complaint with her, and I always had an issue with her throughout the whole class, which was a nightmare for everybody that was in the class with me, because I would always be like, that is not true, where are your sources, and I think that that's the difference, the quality of it. Like, you can say, things like, oh, well, GTA 5, has this mode where you have to kill the hookers and whatnot, and then you can educate that to people. That doesn't mean the education is of quality, because it's not true. It's not, has no true basis. At least, that if you play GTA 5, you can choose to kill hookers or not kill hookers at all, or not even almost see them in the game. You know what I mean? Like, and that is what I mean with it. Like, sure, there's her videos I used to push the ideology, but it's not quality.
There's kids around, so I can't finish that. That's what I say, honey. You.
He put up his
I love you too, Mick, but I don't think how much of a you are. I'm still listening to this at some point. I love you, you know that, but...
Yeah, I do.
Well, yeah, I want to reiterate, people can donate money wherever they want to. It's donation. There's really no guarantee of getting money back, but that's why I don't ever donate on Kickstarters, and that's why I would never have a Patreon or a Kickstarter. But that's not me. However, I still don't see... Okay, here's a question for the group. Are ethical standards a subjective value? Are they subjective? Yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
I'm gonna say no just because Barlow said yes.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I said yes, man.
What was the question?
Yeah, they're subjective, man. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say no, they're not.
Are standards of ethics a subjective value?
Ethics are subjective. Well, I think so. Yeah, ethics and morality are subjective. Both.
I don't think journalistic ethics are, though.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's still, like, to some extent, everything is subjective.
I think there's a universal, like, kind of set, sort of like, like the Ten Commandments of journalism. I'm sure, like, you shouldn't collude and you shouldn't,
But there isn't.
Yeah,
there's
you
no
shouldn't.
There's no set standard of ethical journalism. It's not. Journalists are not licensed. I'm not defending the fucking Leah Alexander here, but there's really no set standard of journalistic ethics. Like, Leah Alexander can collude. Zoe Quinn can sleep over the fuck she wants to, and get no coverage for it. And there's really no repercussions for that. The only repercussions is through the marketplace, according to that. But there's really no set standard hardcore saying the journalists must do this, do this, do this, do this. They can be set by their employer, but like outside forces, like the force of law, like if a doctor violates his ethics, releases your medical information to any motherfucker on the street, he can be fired. He can actually have his license revoked, and he can actually face some jail time for that. And journalists, like, look at Gawker, for example. Look at Gawker. I mean, that's my point. Gawker is allowed to exist because there's no ethical standards in journalism. However, I've debated many people in Gamergate on this issue yesterday, and they said maybe there should be licensing. That's going to be very hard in the United States because that's the First Amendment issue. Go ahead, I'll shut up.
Okay,
well, what I was trying to say earlier before the dog started losing it is the whole comparison with Anita and all that. The only bit of gameplay footage that I think Anita actually recorded herself and posted was from the Hitman Absolution, because, I mean, you can look at that footage, and she's killing strippers and dragging them around, and if you look up in the upper corner, you see she's getting penalized for it. I couldn't find a single gameplay video anywhere on YouTube that had where the Let's Player was doing that. So I think that's literally the only piece of video game footage that I think she recorded herself. And that really makes me question her a lot more than I did before, to be honest.
It's all about that narrative.
Well, I understand your point, and that is, not giving Let's Players credit, for what they put on YouTube. Yes, that is unethical. Absolutely, I would say that. But according to my standards of ethics. But however, that's like comparing. Okay, that's comparing, like, say, okay, she has one ethical violation, but we're talking about producing getting money for a content, raising money for a content, and producing a content. Now, if Sargon, let's say, released a demo for his game, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But for me, I don't really care about this issue. I just really care about inconsistencies in people's arguments. I'm not going to go off of John Kelly and tear you a new one over it. But it's just kind of, well, if Gamergate is all about ethical standards and they went after Anita, one of the reasons is, again, people giving money to Anita, not producing the work, and one person not.
Anita, she kind of shoved herself into the whole thing. Technically, we didn't really care about her in the beginning.
Well, it was one of the points that many people that supported Gamergate brought up. So I'm just bringing that up, and for me, if you're gonna uphold this standard of ethics, and and this very subjective standard, not of subjective value, then you really have to apply it to everyone, even if they're right on your side. You have to apply that same standard to everyone.
Oh, I agree 100%. But the thing is, though, and I'm not saying this is like a Sargon fan, because God knows there's a lot of stuff he has said that I very much disagree with. But I mean, the thing is, and I know you were making the Anita comparison. There's not just the fact that she's trying to start other series without finishing the one that so many people gave her money for. Yeah, that's an issue too. But I mean, at the same time, with him, he lost someone in his team. That's not exactly something he can help. And if you have a 3-person team and it goes down to 2, you're going to have to pick up the slack. Being part of several group projects, I can speak from that with experience.
Would you agree with the standard trust but verify?
Absolutely. Yeah, trust but verify. I mean, I know.
So how would you verify Sargon's? How would you verify whatever Sargon is saying is true?
Well, I guess the thing is, you could talk to the other person or anyone else that might be involved in the group. I'm sure there's probably a website somewhere talking about this, so.
I mean, strictly speaking, you also gotta remember that we're not, we're not the people that were donating money to Sargon. So, yeah. In the long run, I don't particularly even really care all that much about his game. I mean, if it comes out, well, goody gumdrops, but
I really don't know a whole lot about the game. I know that if it comes out and it's good, I'll give it a try.
Yeah, it's the same reason I'm not gonna just go like, oh, Sargon made this game, well, I better go fucking buy it. No,
it's not really my type of game, so I probably won't buy it.
I'm gonna do the same quality control I do with every other game. I pirated it first, played all the way through, and then decided.
Oh boy.
Pre-order.
Well, I was thinking of when he releases his game, I'll probably boycott it, and then hopefully he invites me on his stream to debate me live.
Sex for famous.
I'll probably
to be on his stream, you have to make sure that first you write a really bad article, or at least 3 or 4 of them about him and his crew, and then
if you don't get him to bash his table, you failed.
I just sort of imagined the situation where Queenie is in the process of moaning suggestively at Sargon on the stream, and then his wife comes in.
That would be pretty good.
Don't do that, guys.
Wow.
To be fair, it's not like John Kelly when he moans at Barlow. Oh, you're so dreamy.
Oh, you're so.
This is
I'm,
getting.
I'm surprised Charming Man wasn't moaning at John Kelly the whole time. Oh,
I will admit this. John Kelly likes to argue. I used to be the guy that likes to argue until I started smoking a lot of weed. However, I don't really see the intense dislike from him. I mean, I've invited him on my streams, and he seems like an okay person. I invite other people on my streams, but a lot of times they don't come. So I just don't see this dislike for what John Kelly is. I mean, does he like to go after what the people call E-celebs? Maybe. I don't, well, maybe he does, but again, I don't really see where did this idea that we can't. I mean, is there this tenet that like the GOP, the Republican Party in the United States, you can't really criticize another GG or can't criticize someone that supports GG? Is that like a standard that in the early days that we came up with? I don't know. Maybe you can tell me.
I don't understand what's your point, sorry.
Yeah, I'm a little confused too, to be honest.
My question is that where does this criticism of John Kelly, this dislike of John Kelly come from?
Because he's a dishonest arsehole, that's why.
I think he's just really
wait. Honestly, I don't think that John even realizes when he's being dishonest. I mean that. I personally don't hate John Kelly. I mean, he entertains me for one.
You know what? I just saw something in the chat that kind of irritates me a little bit. It says that Sargon is on John Kelly's stream right now, so apparently John Kelly was just trying to hijack Sargon for his own show.
Then why didn't you just ask?
Yeah.
Arsehole.
Wait, right now?
I'm gonna check that source and see if it's legitimate.
It appears that Sargon is on John Kelly's stream with Satan.
Satan.
God
Yeah,
bless.
he is on.
I'm gonna have to watch that, guys. I'm sorry. Listen, man. Just to like answer really quickly to cannabis. Can I call you
Operation
that?
Shitpost John Kelly. Let's do this, Johnny.
You can call me Mota Honey if you want.
Okay. Well, listen, man. I mean, to me, it's not like hate. To me, it's a really strong word. All right. I hate people who are abusive, and I have been abusive towards me in my life. That's the word I reserve for. I can dislike like internet feuds. Don't waste your time hating people for internet feuds. That's at least my morality or my belief, right? So I don't hate like Varilo or John Kelly or whoever. I just find it a little annoying how they take these little things and misconstrue things, either consciously or unconsciously. I don't care at this point, but they still do it regardless. And I think it's a little annoying that they take these things. And it's also like really interesting how they constantly look for this attention as well. I'm not saying attention is bad, but the way they do it, it's a little frustrating for me when they have looked for this attention and then get rejected and then look for attention the wrong way, trying to get in people's nerves and attacking them and whatnot. That to me is salty, and I think that's what annoys people. I feel that you may have some sort of discussion with them, but they're not reasonable enough to be able to reach a conclusion or at least to try to find middle ground. Like I've seen some of the strings Sargon does. There's a lot of things that I disagree with Sargon, alright? But I gotta give it to him. He's really patient and he really tries to reach middle ground with these people. These people don't even attempt it, and I think that's where the dislike comes from, at least from what I see in my opinion. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
Makes perfect sense to me. Like, okay, I had a few interactions with John Kelly, and you can tell that someone is disingenuous from their first tweet at you, and you're just like, why should I even continue bothering with this person?
You know, my view is that everybody should be listened at least once in a while for some amount of time because people tell me that I'm just fucking crazy like that, but I like to just call myself a free speech extremist, meaning that even though I am a registered card-carrying member of my local communist party, I will still listen to people on the right or of differing views because even if they're like wrong almost all the fucking time, they'll still sometimes be right about something. You gotta keep listening for all those right things.
Well, yeah, but again, before I leave, I have to leave pretty soon. It's just that.
You muted yourself, Mike.
Hold on.
Oh, while he's working that out. Also, everybody's got to remember that John Kelly is a person on the internet. Like most people are people on the internet over here, so you gotta.
I'm back. I had to take care of it. But go ahead, finish your point.
Yeah, you gotta reserve strong feelings for real people. And you know, I'm not like, oh, somebody's gonna misquote me and say me that I'm fucking that I'm dehumanizing people on the internet, but it's like you reserve strong feelings for your real life, mate. The internet is a place where at the end of the day you go to chill out, not to get your piss to a boil. I already do that at my fucking work. I don't have to do this in my spare hours, you know. So that's why I don't particularly hate anyone on the internet, like literally nobody. I don't even hate Zoe Quinn. I don't hate any of the Sarkeesian. I think they're fucking conniving bitches, and I can call them as such, but that doesn't mean I hate them.
Before I leave, I just have to say I apply the same ethical standards to everyone, and I hope, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a nice day. Goodbye and good luck, everyone. And I host a Gamergate stream every Monday, 8 to 11 p.m. Pacific time. Everyone's welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
All right, brother.
Take care.
Have a good night, man.
Gotta get
Tear us apart, Lisa.
So who missed a battle royal between Sargon and Kelly on my show? Because they're doing I think they're trying to do. Apparently, from Ross Dunn, he just said that John Kelly's being a bitch. He's grilling Sargon on shit he's already answered on that one over there. Basically, what it is why isn't he on my channel? I want to debate him on mine.
Why isn't he on my channel? It's not fair. It's not fair.
Yeah, he's being a cuck by being on Johnny's channel. That makes no sense.
Wrong. Okay, here's how it's supposed to be.
Hey, I don't give a fuck, because I already had Sargon in here for 2 hours, and it was supposed to be me and him, but whatever.
You're doing it wrong. It's supposed to be more like, oh, I
I was having on my channel too.
By the way,
I'm not even gonna bother watching the fucking after show with that asshole because I'm not gonna give him an extra view.
Sorry, my friend.
I already have been shit posting. I'll be honest.
I will tell you this.
I've already listened to John Kelly for 2 hours. I'm not listening to more of that shit right now.
I'm not even listening to him. I'm just saying stuff in the chat.
Oh, you're not even listening to. Okay. Bringing in Ross Dunn now since he I always get confused when I was looking at the chat. They keep on saying John's a fucking cuck, but they're talking about Kelly because I have the same name, so it's kind of
old school.
If anyone says anything negative, I'm just going to say it's John Kelly and not me. I'm just going to blame it on him from now on.
There's a specific difference, Johnny, because you're Johnny, not John.
I run a news show, and Kelly runs a sucking Verlo's dick show.
By the way, Shrekbane actually wants to come on. We got room, or you're the host. So.
Yeah, no, bring in whoever. I don't care.
Are you sure you want to say that, Johnny?
No, never mind. Bring in Lisa.
Be careful when you're calling.
Okay, I just one day get a crazy series of messages from you. Someone just saying someone just pulled their junk out on my stream. What do I do?
Yeah, that's true. So I might want to.
No offense, but
I don't want to stop the stream, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean,
I just Scott here. This is like the first time I've had internet all day.
You're late, Lisa.
You're
It's your
late,
fault.
Lisa. Well, we already have Ross coming on once we free up a spot, which he's been in the chat for a while, from what I can see.
I don't know how people found Kelly entertaining. I was scratching them.
I think they were finding it entertaining that him and Sargon were yelling at each other is what it was, not really Kelly himself.
Hey, I found this to be popcorn worthy. Hell, I even actually went to get popcorn for this shit.
I'm
I was laughing my
their
ass off the
reaction
entire
to my
time.
video.
And just to say, I'm good. The last person coming on is probably going to be Ross because I gotta get this uploaded and I got shit to do. But we'll let Ross come on and then we'll just.
You're a busy man, Johnny. You're a busy man.
I'm busy man. I got shit to do.
Yeehaw.
Don't want this to be 5 hours. Nobody will watch it.
Nope. Why is it 4 already?
I don't know. Well, we started at 3 and it's almost at the 3 hour mark.
Probably just go back and see what I missed.
Yeah, because we're almost at the 3 hour mark.
Man, 10 minutes is enough for me as it is.
Yeah, and that's what it is for most people. Most people don't get past minute 20, but maybe with them Sargon and him going at it, they'll watch longer. But
That lasted far too long for my taste.
Hey, dudes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, I will say, you gotta call me. You really should call me again. Get into a video call with me at sunset again, because that was awesome to watch.
Oh, do you mean me?
Yeah.
I think that's because of the blood moon, probably.
It wasn't that, but it was still just awesome. It's like, hey, there's a sunset going on behind you. Oh,
You
yeah,
should see it when it's rainy.
Oh, wow.
Not that it's any better, but it's more Mancunian. Oh, I'm loving old school video. He was one who said sex for favours in the chat.
I will say this. You actually managed to accomplish something that it hasn't happened in about 10 years. When I started hearing your version of V, I laughed so hard I almost legit pissed myself.
Ooh.
Wow.
There's some people would like that.
Not me.
Well, not me, obviously, but you know.
Well, I mean, you did tell me you were worried about my bladder, which I still don't know how to take.
Well, okay, alright, now let's not misconstrue things.
No, that was like one of the weird. It's like, I've been worried about your bladder. Like, what?
Well, I'm not only at that moment in time.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you think this is weird. You want to see our text conversations.
Y'all have a strange friendship.
We do.
I'm not either.
Yours is equally as strange.
I want to show you guys my shirt. It says, I read the articles.
I read the articles.
I'm reading your articles right now. Had to be made. Had to be made.
That be cyber harassment. Arrest the man. Hashtag arrest him.
Oh, I'm an eater.
Mitch, you cyber touched me. How dare you?
Yeah.
Again, you think this is weird? You got to see our like 5
it's Sargon's network. Sargon's network has joined.
But what?
Sorry, Ross. Do you want to talk?
Yeah, no problem, man.
Sorry.
Just going back to the original subject, I mean, I was sort of paying attention to this a good bit. So John Kelly decided that he was going to baby boo boo piss bitch about Sargon. That's
baby boo boo piss bitch.
That's really the way I see it.
That's
Dog.
sort of like a combination word like I use when I talk about My Little Pony, saying it's hippie,
It's when
happy,
you're
horseshit.
a piss baby and you got a shitload of baby boo boos, which is what he clearly has.
Honey boo boo.
Dear sir, this comment deserves a
pony out of you. I will do it.
I'm strangely hypnotized by Gamergate Network's avatar.
That's how Sargon gets you, Johnny.
Seriously, you don't remember Max Headroom?
Yeah, that's
Am I
Max
the only old
Headroom.
faggot here?
No, I'm like 30, dog.
You know
That's
what?
too late
I still
for me.
find it hilarious they never caught that guy.
So I've got a little sin I have to confess. I'm actually the guy who used to give John Kelly a blog.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel so sorry for you, man.
I think he turned his blog off.
Hold on. And
He
then
has
when
another one. He called on medium.com that I found.
Yeah, what happened was basically after he pretty much didn't do nothing with it for ages and caused a bunch of problems for me, on the hosting side, I basically told him, dude, okay, please look for someplace else. And next comes out a massive Medium post telling people why I'm comparable to Hitler with an actual Nazi quote, right? Because I'm not giving him free shit.
I'm talking about stuff I have no idea what about.
Also, he's German, so.
What, John Kelly?
No.
Oh, me.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
I wasn't paying attention.
So, yeah.
But I think Sargon, I think trying to pin him down for shit like that he's failed to deliver on his project is unrealistic. It's actually holding him to a standard that we actually don't hold modern video game developers to. If a title is delayed, it's an acceptable, understandable component of game development. But because Sargon is such a strong public figure and he's easily accessible, we hold him to a different standard because we can grab him by the fucking throat and we can shake his nuts and go, bitch.
Would you like? Would you like?
Part, but I get your point.
Would you like a perspective from a game developer on this?
Well,
Yeah,
apparently Verlo's a game developer in his own fucking head, because he was the one that said, I've been on many different projects and a project lead. Then he comes on my show and says, well, this is my first gig as a game developer.
Projects, man. Many different projects.
Check your ethics, charming man. Jesus Christ.
That will never get old.
You know what he said to me? He said, charming man, you make me sound like a dude, bro. I'm a female.
Gosh.
Wait, that's the biggest complaint.
Listen, well, man.
You didn't make him sound like a dude, bro. You made him sound like fucking Napoleon Dynamite.
Which is what he also sounds like Atheist Rue, who also sounds like Napoleon Dynamite.
Well, the first Lisa.
I know him. I know Atheist Rue.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? He does sound like it.
Yeah, he's also a bitch.
Well, to actually address,
Oh,
what was being said, I mean, you
I
gotta remember.
I want to hear V. Monroe tell Lisa he's tearing her apart.
You're turning me apart, Lisa.
There you go. That's the closest you're ever gonna get. You shit, Lawrence.
Jeez.
Nah, but in all seriousness, what happened to Sargon isn't all that uncommon when we're talking about a indie title. We're talking about a bootstrap effort where somebody goes in there with relatively little capital and tries to make something work with, the most minimal means that they have at their disposal. This is not uncommon whatsoever. And in cases like this, you have to very often rely on volunteer work and or people basically only charging absolute minimum for stuff that they could sell higher otherwise. So people flaking out or people, just disappearing is actually standard. This is not something unusual.
I don't know. I just was so fed up with John Kelly that I finally just had to yell at him. I was done with that shit. I mean, because I knew that he was just trying to hijack the whole show and
you and everybody else.
Kelly hijack a show? No.
I had an inkling.
Hey, Sargon's the one that wanted to bring him on, so I obliged. So.
Hey, you did mention you wanted to talk to him yourself, though.
Yeah, but together, one-on-one.
On a separate show, not this one. He was bitching that I didn't have him on.
Because you were like, hey, you want to host it? Fuck no, I don't want to host it. Are you insane?
No, I was trying to tell Sargon to host it, but he wanted to host it on this channel versus his. I mean, because I thought it would be better if he did, because he would have more control over the shit. And but I mean, whatever. Shit happens.
But topic, but I'm kind of wishing I had a tongue ring in right now. Mine broke. I gotta get a new one.
Cool story, bro.
I know. Yeah, what was that post about there?
What post?
Moving on.
Was that the one with my head on the desk? Well, it wasn't my head, it was somebody else's.
I would like to say, just really quick, that CharmingMan93 is a shitlord for only subscribing to me from 19 hours ago. He should have been on the ball a lot earlier.
I know, I should have.
You bastard.
I should have been as well.
I thought I subscribed to you, but I might have subscribed to another Johnny.
Subscribing? I don't even know who you are.
I am an unknown.
I've told this bastard on about 4 streams now. You'd think you would have got the point. Hey, you might want to watch my shit.
Well, to be fair, I'm usually the one that dragged him in with me, so not all the blame's on him.
Yeah, well.
I'm not someone who shills myself very often.
Yeah.
It's hard to do it.
KIA told me that. Well, didn't tell me. More like I posted a few of my videos on there once, and
You got shadow banned, probably.
no, I didn't get shadow banned. I just got angry at comments saying "Stop shilling yourself," so I stopped shilling myself.
Now you don't have to.
How are
got
you
you to
supposed
do
to
it.
grow if you don't shield them?
Now you have a network of people that do it for you.
Yeah, the Illuminati now, since you're now plugged into Sargon's Illuminati network.
Looking for a triangle on one of my tattoos.
Wait, I thought it was my Illuminati network. What the fuck?
No, you've been taking over. No.
Yeah,
It's,
you got hijacked, bro.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Triangle on my Gur tattoo right here.
That's Illuminati. You guys familiar with the Vigilant Christian? No?
Oh, the
Yes,
Vigilant
I've
Christian.
done a video on him. Oh my
Oh, this is the
god.
Vigilant Christian, Mario.
Worst night of my life.
You had to bring his name up, dude.
Jesus.
He rules.
Christ, I hate
He
that
rules
fucking
so hard.
You have no
And
idea how
Illuminati
pissed off I was during that video.
In fairness, I was introduced to him through the Drunken Peasants podcast.
Yeah, same.
And
me too.
You know what? That coward finally showed up. At least
He
he
did.
did. Atheist Rue didn't though.
I'd love
Yeah,
to have Christian Vigilant on this fucking show, just so I could just fucking just yell at him, just oh you fucking asshole.
Seems like
Making me almost actually think about having someone from my blood family call in.
Oh, don't please.
Yeah.
he's great. He was great though. I mean,
He was funny.
They just wound him up and let him go. I mean, any sort of argument that they gave to counter his points, he was just like, no, I have an apology for that as well. It was fucking great.
See, if it weren't for him, we wouldn't have the true Scotsman from Paul's Ego, would we?
Exactly, Paul's ego wouldn't have been able to create the No True Scotsman.
Want to piss off devout Christians? There's an I was trying to make there's an app for that joke, but you know.
Anita died for your shitlord posting.
It's actually pretty stunning the amount of high-profile people they get on that show. Like they got Sargon and people on that show. It's actually pretty surprising.
Howard Bloom, he's like
Howard
he
Bloom,
knows all these
yeah.
famous people. I didn't even realize he was like massive. He even has his own Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were almost gonna get Kent Hovind in there.
Kent Hovind bit. He pussied out though.
Yeah, he pissed out.
because yeah, TJ was like in order for us to have this conversation, I have to be able to elect a representative for my position, and you could bring one for you in as well if you wanted to, but he wouldn't accept that. So
it was
Okay,
also
I
his
gotta
guy.
call
His
I got to call. It might be back in a minute. I just got told my battery has like less than 5% remaining on my phone.
Your laptop's tearing us apart, Lisa.
It's my phone, you look.
Oh, your phone. Oh well, your phone's tearing us apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a lot of downvotes. I gotta freaking just change the name from this to
I
just
upvoted for
some
you.
subscribers in 3 seconds, but I gotta change the name of this because it was originally with Sargon, but then I need to put like, wonder if I can change the name of this mid.
anonymous idiots.
Do what?
Just say Varilo's.
Fuck it, I'll just keep it as that because that's what it was supposed to be, and I split it into 2 different videos, called one the Aftermath and called one speaking with Sargon about it, or Sargon versus John Kelly or some shit. I just split it in 2.
Why is
Just call it the world's most one-sided fist fights caught on tape.
Most one-sided fist fights over robot chicken.
Well, I have to admit, I have never seen.
Granny out of her wheelchair and shit.
I have never seen someone being schooled so epically like I have seen today.
Personally speaking, I think the urinal one is the best.
Yeah, but
I just wish that Charming Man would check his privilege. It really upsets me that he hasn't yet, or check his ethics.
Check your ethics, man.
Check your ethics.
Check your ethics, man.
Going back to what Sargon said, I would actually say that Gamergate is over because it's like, well, Gamergate originally came out from what as
Conspiracy, yeah.
Well, yeah, the conspiracy, and the conspiracy was mostly focusing on the unethical practices of the journalists that were elected to represent the public when it comes to games, right? So technically speaking, Gamergate is over because the ethics part is done. I mean, nobody's stopping us from rallying under under a banner of anti-censorship.
In all fairness, though, unethical shit is still happening, probably on a daily basis in the video game industry. It's not like it's magically disappeared just because a couple sites adopted an ethics policy.
Well, yeah, but
Well, I think this speaks to a conversation that is happening, like in Gamergate as a whole, where people are trying to decide whether or not is this just about this one conversation about ethics in games journalism, or is it branching out to other things as well?
Well, I don't even think you have to go that far. Even if you're a proponent of, or if you're dirty ethics cucks, like myself, right? Even then, it depends on your point of view. Okay, there are a couple people that think, oh, these, we got our apology from some places, we got ethics policies, we're done. I see things a little bit more differentiated. I think this is more of a thing. We will be done after we basically educated the readership as a whole to be more critical consumers of media. And that is something that's going to take a lot longer. Now, I'm not saying that has to necessarily happen under the GG hashtag, but I do think that the quote-unquote battle for ethics is far from over.
Yeah, I think Gamergate is definitely useful in that capacity, and it's going to continue on from there.
Yeah, but you know what? We also have to avoid the Occupy effect.
Yeah, true.
Occupy Wall Street just first was focused, then it got completely disoriented what it actually wanted to do. Then some SJWs came in and fucking made people even more confused. And in the end, Occupy just became a fucking punchline. And we're not gonna change anything by becoming a punchline, you know. You gotta die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become retarded.
Yeah. I think if you look at the last couple of weeks, especially on things like Milo Yiannopoulos' reporting, and you look at the Rubin report, I don't know if you guys are following him, and a couple of bits on Bill Maher, I think Gamergate is instrumental in developing this new term that sort of is a little more ironically politically correct that's popping around now, called regressive leftists. That's the more mainstream word now for social justice warrior. And Gamergate has at least helped to highlight that particular thing, and it's really going mainstream in a lot of conversations right now.
Well, in all fairness, I personally don't trust Milo Yiannopoulos further than I can throw Randy Harper.
I don't trust him either.
But it cannot be denied that this has kind of moved a little bit more into the public eye. Hell, we saw South Park.
Yeah, Shrek, but Milo Yiannopoulos cannot be trusted. True, but you know, you gotta just evaluate what he writes up to the standard of what he writes currently.
I evaluate everything that I read based on current standards.
You gotta judge on the man on his work on a case-by-case basis, because, like I said,
yes and no, because quite frankly, if I have a dude that's been lying me for the past 2 months, then I apply statistical analysis to his current statement, and then I'm not likely to trust what he's saying now.
Statistically speaking, also, you cannot be wrong 100% of the time. You know,
but you can sure try.
Like to bring up the analogy that Robin really liked. Hitler was a big fan of drinking water. Should we abandon drinking water?
Yeah.
Actually, he wasn't, but that's a different story.
Yeah, he's a big fan of meth as well.
If
you want a good,
I love meth, darling.
He was a big fan
am the local Hitler expert here.
He was a big fan of drinking liquids to maintain his H2O levels. How about that?
And that's more appropriate, yes.
On the subject of Milo, if you want to see a good ripping of Milo and you want to see somebody criticize him, believe it or not, Joe Rogan, yeah, exactly. Joe Rogan had 3 hours with him last week, and he really ripped into him. He really sort of tore him apart. Yeah, it was basically over religion, but it expanded to a lot of different points.
I never took Milo as a religious person because, you know, he's gay and he's quite smart. No offense to religious people, but, you know. I can't believe he's actually religious after what they've done to the LGBT community for years. Well, not necessarily transgender people. I don't know.
Well, first off, you're going to ask yourself what religion.
Well,
But he's
the
a
Church of
Catholic.
England. Is he Catholic?
He's
Oh yeah.
Catholic.
Well, yeah,
Yes,
now with that specification, I'm agreed to that. But for me personally, I'm a religious apatheist. I'm a religious apatheist.
Can you explain that? Sorry.
Okay, well, there's
So short
two
of an
types
apologist.
there's two different apatheists. Okay, the ones are the ones that just don't care. You know, therefore apatheist. Me, for example, I actually believe in Ronson, the god of apathy.
Okay, so a deist, kind of, you know, kind of like they have a god and he made the universe and he doesn't really care after that. Like, he just
No,
doesn't
they don't care if there's a god or not. That's an
Oh,
atheist.
so agnostic.
Me personally, I believe in a god that doesn't give a fuck. In other words, I believe in a god that I have a deal with. Basically, I pray to him by not praying, and his church is a pub.
Okay, all right.
Why the hell are we talking about religion now?
Milo. Sorry.
Oh.
So yeah, it makes sense.
Look where it's like a piss and then it
the Greek
turns into the
heritage.
Church of Fox or some shit.
Oh, hail the fox! What does he say?
Oh, hail the Fox! He got hijacked by John Kelly, and then he died. His brain died for your sins. Now.
I'm not sure you'll feel comfortable there, because the last time I was at the Church of Fox, it was a furry hangout.
Oh my god.
A lot of yiffing.
I get that question all the damn time. Am I a furry? No, this is because the reason I have the avatar is because Sunny, Sunbun, she's the one that made the avatar for me because of the name Johnny Fox. She made it as fan art, and it's the only fan art I've ever gotten, so I put it as my avatar.
Yeah, I didn't realise, but your fox is actually smoking a nice spliff there.
I don't even smoke cigarettes anymore. I don't even smoke cigarettes anymore. I just use my vapor thing now.
Or as a thingy, V pronounces it as vapping.
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 Yeah, I vape because I'm gay.
Shut up, Bernie! I'm tired of your shit.
Vapping.
There's a moment in the video where I get it absolutely spot on, and then I go back to being a bit crap.
You know what? In Verilo's defense, he did do one thing that's kind of funny. He can do V's voice perfectly.
Mine was better though.
Well, yeah, obviously, but
no, it wasn't.
That was the only thing Verilo ever did good, was he did that V video, and I did laugh pretty hard just because of how spot on his impression was.
The thing is, he tried to do it to V, but only because he was losing the argument.
Dude, I laughed so hard when I saw that too. That was funny as shit.
I did like the way where you whipped out the Vince's "you're fired," and then he had a perfect moment of autism where he went, "You're not my boss, you can't fire me," and I was like, "Oh my fucking god!" But the worst part is,
I promised so many people that I would do that if I ever had John Kelly on the stream that I was gonna yell, "You're fired" at him.
But the worst part about it was, the chat was like 50-50 on it. Half the people in the chat actually got that it was Vince McMahon. The other half of the people in the chat thought you were pretending to be Donald fucking Trump.
Oh my god. Well, you gotta see the clip where Vince McMahon did fire Donald Trump. He did! I swear to God it happened. Donald Trump! You're fired!
You know, you should play a drinking game at some point, watch one of his streams, and take a shot every time he says, "I disagree."
Or every time Barrel says, "Poison the well!"
Man,
what games has Verilo actually worked on?
None at all.
What projects has he worked on?
None.
None again.
Verilo, from what I
the only project he's ever worked on is his own dick. That's the only thing he's ever done. The only thing he works on is stroking his ego.
I'm just curious because from I read his blog, right, and I don't know who he is or what he's actually done, but from what I've read, it seems pretty much like somebody who has absolutely no idea how, especially indie game development, actually works.
Yep.
He doesn't even know how AAA development works.
He doesn't know how anything works.
Like, on another stream, he was arguing that, they were going against EA for some odd reason, and then he was blaming BioWare for the delay of, for the rushing of Mass Effect 3.
Well, it was their fault, really.
And his point was, they shouldn't have signed the contract with EA. And I'm like, okay, no, I would fault them for other reasons. And they're like, and he's like, no, I would fault them for signing a contract with the publisher. I'm like, well, then how are they going to publish their games? I mean, they're going to have the funding from somewhere.
Verlo just wants something to bitch about, plain and simple.
Actually, Habib, you gotta remember that BioWare is like even at the start of Mass Effect, BioWare wasn't like the new kid on the block.
No.
I mean, BioWare was somewhere up the fucking juggernaut ladders, like on par with development studios like Blizzard.
I'm not saying that to defend BioWare in any way, but to blame them for signing a contract is something else.
Well, I actually do blame them for signing a contract with EA, and it's because they signed a contract with EA.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
hold on.
basically,
You're gonna
when you
make
sign
a
a
big
contract with EA.
distinction here, okay? The first part you gotta remember is even BioWare is a studio. In other words, you're gonna have developers, and then you're gonna have suits. And the ones who make these calls are not the developers; they're the suits who have like investors to respond to. And that's the big problem here, because the suits generally don't know a flying fuck about the game industry or the gamers.
Yeah, but aren't the suits dependent on the owners of the studio? Ergo, usually the guy that probably hangs out more with the development guys.
Unfortunately, the suits end up usually being in charge of those studios. That's unfortunately how this shit works out.
What about Blizzard? I mean, does anybody remember how many fucking times they pushed back Diablo 2? I mean, the marketing department was probably having a fucking heart attack. They missed 2 fucking Christmas release dates.
Yeah, I remember that.
How did that work?
Exceptions are always there. That doesn't mean the rule isn't valid.
Well, Blizzard is like the fucking trove of fucking exceptions. Every single game they made was delayed, but also every single game they ever made was a fucking hit.
Well, in all fairness, Blizzard, in my personal opinion, they drop down a lot. The reason why everything they do is a hit, well, because they are turd polishers. In other words, they excel in the art at polishing a product to the nth degree until it shines like a beacon, but has usually little to no innovation whatsoever left in it. You know, that's the big problem. You can take an existing concept that you know works and then just fine-tune it until it's like a perfect execution. You know, it's like... yeah, you can have a simple cheese sandwich, right? And you can make the absolute perfect cheese sandwich. Of course that's going to sell well, but it's just still always going to be a cheese sandwich. It's not going to be something new.
You can argue that Warcraft 1 and 2 were pretty much almost the same game. But StarCraft, even though gameplay-wise it wasn't different, it was pretty much the same, there was still the aspect of how the units worked that made it a completely different game. I mean, some people in Korea would probably give you a fucking faculty on how StarCraft is completely different from fucking Warcraft 2.
Right.
And then we get into different waters with Warcraft 3, which was pretty much a completely different game. They introduced the hero mechanics, the resurrection of heroes, not just named heroes you needed to complete scenario A or B. They actually added actual leveling systems to those heroes, their special abilities and shit. So it was already a completely different
you have
game.
a point, but the point is the overarching concept. There isn't necessarily, like, there were no groundbreaking new mechanics in there. Individually, the things we speak about were not completely unheard of. They were maybe not used in that specific context, but they
wasn't it
existed.
Blizzard that didn't Blizzard make the very first RTS? Or did they just popularize the RTS?
Look, I'm not
popularizing the RTS. I'm pretty
They
sure it was out
popularized
before
it.
then.
And the other part is also, you got to remember, just because they once, how long ago was Warcraft 1 and 2?
Long time ago.
And
Far back.
companies change over time. This is the big thing. You know, it's what I call corporate inertia. The more success these ventures get, the more risk adverse they get. And when I say risk adverse, I don't mean shit like missing a deadline, because quite frankly, Blizzard doesn't give a shit about deadlines because they don't have to. Because there's people are going to be lining up for the new Diablo anyways.
They do now.
You could argue that Populous was the first RTS, and that Peter Molyneux was responsible for the RTS genre.
Now, Peter Molyneux is a very interesting bastard, because he never builds something that is wildly successful, but he always builds interesting shit that then leads to other interesting shit being developed. It never quite works, but he's got some good ideas in there. That's
Most
why
ideas he
has
never
value to the
implements.
industry.
That's yeah. Where are we going with this? I forgot.
I have no idea.
I lost my train of thought here.
Oh yeah, no, we were starting out with what has Varilo actually done?
Yeah,
Nothing.
The thing is, like, I was on that stream with the guy, and you know, his point of argument about signing the contract, he's like, well, someone in the stream said, well, EA changed the contract midway about the release of the game, and he's like, well, they shouldn't have signed contracts that give the power to the publisher or the higher being to change it at any time. I used to work in corporate banking. I used to finance big corporations for billions of dollars, and you know what? We had the power to change that. Yes, that's how it works. You know, we always have the power to change the contract at any time. Now, am I defending EA here? No. I'm not even, like, it's just a thing that all contracts have. The person who issues the contract can change it at any time. My point is, like, if anyone has any knowledge about how AAA development works, they would know that these things happen in those contracts.
Yep, that's pretty much standard.
Yeah,
now, there
even
are
when
exceptions, right? There are very few exceptions where basically you have that renegade studio that does shit differently. But the bigger they grow and the closer they grow to AAA, the more they are going to have to deal with similar things. That's just how it works.
Yeah, that's how it works, and that was my only time to actually talk to Varlo one-on-one, and I was like, you know what, this guy is very delusional, and he has no idea what he's talking about. So
I suppose when a studio is not necessarily responsible to a publisher, the game change. I used to work for CCP, who make EVE Online, and they were a unique company to work for. Their whole development methodology was Scrum Agile anyway.
So
Ross,
your hands are
Ross,
stained.
now I have to ask Ross. Ross, have you attended like meetings where they were like deciding or just telling people what we're gonna do in the next patch and shit like that?
Yeah.
What was the reaction when they told you guys that you will be implementing a $70 monocle in the next patch?
I was there for that. You're talking about Incarna and Monocle Gate. Yeah, I was in the company when that happened, and that was a serious shitstorm. It was. See, what we did was CCP Torfy was given far too much control on the development and deployment of that patch. CCP Torfy is this little art house prick who thinks that if he paints like a single red line on a blank canvas, that's art worth millions. That's the sort of person you're talking about here. And so basically what they did was they allowed a concept artist to take control of the game for a development cycle.
It didn't work, did it?
It didn't work. It worked terribly.
It was the fucking Oblivion horse all over again.
It was it really was.
What happened with the horse armor there again? I forgot.
It was
they
one of
added
the
in
first
horse
DLCs.
armor DLC and made people pay for it, and it was really fucking retarded and useless.
Oh yeah.
But let's be honest here. In comparison to today's so many $1,000 spaceships or several $1,000 race cars, you know, that sometimes don't even work properly. That kind of shit seems innocent now in comparison, now, doesn't it?
Yes, but you have to remember that you cannot actually buy a Titan unless it's off eBay. You actually have to build it. The players.
No, I'm not talking about EVE here.
Yeah, I'm talking about EVE here. When the players.
Yes, and I'm comparing it to like other games where you buy a spaceship for several $1,000s from the company that doesn't even work properly, or a race car for $7,000, so you can sit in a different car in a racing game.
You're talking about like $15,000. They sold like one of the ships for $15,000 fucking dollars in a Star Citizen, and people bought it. Like there were like only 20 of them being sold, and they sold it like in the first day.
For a little while, CCP was kind of really interested in Star Citizen, and they thought Star Citizen actually might pose a legitimate threat to EVE Online if its development cycle picked up and it really produced content. After about 6 months, all that concern washed away because the developers at CCP knew right away that charging $15,000 for a spaceship in the game was going to kill them.
Yeah, they weren't really
And if
charging
that didn't kill
$15,000 in the
them,
beginning. But
you know,
yeah, they
there was
were.
Wait, so did the
wasn't going to help.
Fold? Did the project officially fold, or are they just floating in a state of abandon?
Which project do you mean? Star Citizen?
Star Citizen, yeah.
No, it's still going. Nobody really knows. Like every sign I look at says that the project it might not really make it, and that's not because of the funding per se. It's because of they just keep adding stuff to the scope of the game. Like we really like they're adding right now a first-person shooter module. They're adding so many things, and they lost their original vision so much that it doesn't resemble anything from the JDC presentation back in 2012. And not in a good way.
It's you know, let me ask then, is this and let me guess, I'm guessing they're also hoping for more funding for these new features that they're adding?
They already got the funding, as they claim, but when you listen to developers that looked at the funding and the scope that they have for the game, they're like, no, even your whole $90 million and the time scale that you have is not enough. Like, what are you guys doing?
Well, yeah, people seem to forget that, especially MMO development is a huge beast. It is literally the king's class of game development because there are so many aspects involved in it that do not occur for the regular singular multiplayer games that it's a almost Herculean task. Now, I'm actually saying it will come out, but it will be probably a really broken version, or it doesn't fulfill even half of the promises it made. They will be putting out something, but it's not going to be resembling the promises.
And that I mean, as a backer of the game, that's what concerns me the most, because I backed the game based on the JDC presentation that they had 3 years ago, and so far, like when I look at it now, it resembles nothing of that, nothing at all. It's filled with microtransactions. They're talking about like a subscription base that might or might not be in the game. By the way, in the JDC presentation, they were like, no, there's not going to be any subscription, no microtransactions whatsoever.
They keep adding new nipples to milk players with.
Exactly. And they actually have an insurance policy that you have to buy for your ships. Because when you buy your ships... Yeah, but the thing is, like, that wasn't in the original vision.
Well, in all fairness, right, something like that can make sense if properly executed, because in any kind of MMO, you need some form of a gold sink, right? Now, I've actually seen games where they have implemented this quite literally by giving players a purchasable golden sink. That was highly expensive. But you need to have some kind of drain for the economy, otherwise it is just going to inflate. However, the way that it sounds like, this whole insurance thing is not really in the interest of keeping the economy stable, but rather keeping the developers' economy stable.
Pretty much.
The execution of the insurance mechanic exists quite well in EVE. It works fine in EVE. It's been in EVE since the beginning, and it works for that game. So
it's all just how you do it, how you implement it. There's always ways to do it that is not putting undue stress on the player base, right?
Yeah, the thing is, like, what I see from Star Citizen is like, yeah, it keeps changing in a way that everything is just patched in, and it doesn't really feel like coherent anymore. Like, when you envision a game from the beginning, you just go like, okay, I'm going to have this many planets, this many ships, and this system is going to be the way you interact between all the other systems that you have, or all the other mechanics. But then you can't really add to that later and go like, yeah, this might work along with these systems.
Sounds to me like they never planned to actually release the game. I mean, if they're gonna put out a fucking concept that immediately, when I first saw that, like, people were just so they were fucking rabid about Star Citizen. Like, oh my fucking god, it's gonna change everything. It's gonna change everything. I looked at it and I'm like, this is too good to be true.
Well, there was a recent interview with one of
And when
the.
something sounds too good to be true, I immediately assume somebody is lying here.
Well, recently there was an interview with one of the employees there where he basically denied all the allegations, and all I could really see was that picture of the Iraqi information ministers going like, everything is fine! There are no bombs dropping right behind me! It just seems, I mean, honestly speaking, even if I cut out 80% of the allegations and just focus on the rest, it's still... there is nothing being presented. Like, from everything that I've seen so far, it seems to be like it's a huge disappointment just waiting to happen. And, well, $2 million down the drain, but hey, at least a few people got some jobs. And the funny thing is, I've been in projects like this before, not because I wanted to, but hey, if somebody's going to pay the bills, then you work for that person, right? You can't always pick your employer.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the warning signs of this, right? This seems highly familiar. Oh, we need to add this, we need to add that. It's usually the case when the person who makes the decisions is not listening to what their technical staff tells them is feasible. And when you hear the word vision, when people think they're visionaries, that's when you've got to run.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah,
You went,
and that's exactly what we see from Star Citizen every day. Like, this is Chris Roberts' vision. Just accept it.
It's funny because I see a lot of these sorts of similarities in the way sort of CCP conducted themselves a couple of years ago. CCP had a system where CCP has a massive amount of employees, but they had a rotational system where they would allow somebody from within the bowels of the company to boil up and come to the surface and enter the management sphere and make decisions and assist in the decision-making process and assist in the final vision for the game. It didn't always work. And so you have to be very wary about that sort of free-form, flexible, yeah, whatever, okay, sort of means of game development.
This is why that once in a blue fucking moon when I actually want to play a nice little space sim and feel like firing up Eve, I just dust off my Amiga and fire up Frontier Elite 2. Because that's what
Elite.
Frontier Elite 2. It's basically fucking Eve. It's fucking Eve in worse graphics, and I don't have to deal with goons in no-seg zones. Okay. It's a tit for tat kind of deal.
What's wrong with goons?
Would you like a bulleted list?
Talking shit about my guild bros?
Well, nothing, of course. I mean, besides the fact they form conga lines made out of titans on the border between no-seg zone and cells. Nothing wrong there.
Well, I can speak about goons in Eve. I just had my run-ins with them in other games, and it was quite less than pleasant.
Well, what do you think goons are in Eve? I mean, it's a game where you actively fucking over other players in the most cruel and vile way is actually encouraged.
Personally speaking, I always consider goons to be the naked Russians.
Oh yeah, don't get me started on Salem. Does anybody remember Salem? That little Paradox project?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah,
the thing about goon is, and I'm speaking as a goon, Something Awful has a very insular culture. And if you're really not a part of it, you're kind of not a part of it. And it's kind of the intention of goons in every video game they can get their hands on to... unfortunately, for goons having fun means you not having fun. That's the sort of methodology employed.
And I can absolutely respect that as a guy that played Ultima Online.
There you go.
The problem I noticed with goons is that usually when they migrate to a game, there's like a giant-ass community of them, and it only takes about a week or two for them to start fucking infighting and breaking down into smaller little tribes.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. I mean, you have to keep in mind, all goons come from Something Awful. So, like, if there's a thread on Something Awful, pointing everyone to go play this new game that actually looks pretty good, thousands of people are going to jump into the game and play it.
I don't know. The experience I had is it was a game that I played. The goons came in, pissed into everybody's cereal. The rest of the game pretty much banded together to kick the shit out of them, and they said, "Oh, we won, so now we're leaving the server because we're bored."
And that's definitely something that you can do, but I mean, in EVE, Goonswarm has had maybe one or two events where it's really sort of set the alliance back to the point where it almost couldn't recover. But consistently, and pretty much for the last 6 to 7 years, Goonswarm has been a presence in EVE that probably isn't going to go away anytime soon.
Well, I encourage the goons to play EVE as much as possible so they stay out of other games.
In fairness, when you join a Goon Guild, it's like a free ticket to Endgame. Like if you join a World of Warcraft Goon Guild, or a Goon Guild in any typical MMO, it is realistically a free ticket to Endgame content. Because they're going to grind you up. If you're a Goon, you're a newbie Goon, you're gonna get pulled up by the neck and thrown into the higher content.
What's the fun in that? Is my question. I'm the type of guy that even like in Star Wars, they had this like thing that they started giving out XP boosters, and I'm like, I'm not gonna use this. I'm essentially cheating myself out of fucking game content. You know, leveling up the character is fucking entertainment. I mean,
but this is where you're making the mistake. For you, the enjoyment is derived from playing the game. For certain other groups, the fun is derived in pissing off other players.
You have to understand as well that goons only care about their own communities. Like goons never your opinion of a goon guild is irrelevant to the goon guild. They don't care. You're just a puppy. Like, so why do you matter? It's the same in EVE, it's the same in WoW, it's the same in pretty much every Goon Guild on any MMO ever. The only thing that matters is the internal culture of something awful propagating with it. I don't like talking about it because it's really lame, but that's really all that matters.
Yeah, I either never interacted with the culture of something awful, or it's so indistinguishable from fucking 4chan that it doesn't even end at any point. It just sort of meshes into broad internet culture.
Yeah.
So wouldn't that make most people goons in that regard? I mean,
not really.
I wouldn't call myself a channer, but yeah, I would.
I mean, 4chan and something awful culture is not the same. It's really not. Like you could write and it's really lame to say it. You could write like a dissertation on cultures of forums on the internet that have existed for more than 10 years and their influence, like the GNAA's influence on trolling and stuff like that, and Reddit's influence and 4chan's influence.
Fucking Mufax. We used to be the BBS culture, you know. We were your forefathers. Respect us.
You're talking about like fucking alt.net and shit, like back in the days of CGI bins and Perl scripts.
Yeah, nigga, I still used to use an acoustic coupler.
Yeah, you kids these days and you're fucking whining about Steam auto-updating. I had to fucking dial up a BBS every time I wanted a patch for a game.
Oh god.
Good times.
Back in the day.
You old farts.
And that's if you fucking could get the patch from a BBS. Most companies in this fucking country had to have you fucking call them up and order up a fucking letter where they just stuff the floppy with the fucking patch into the letter and just send it to you.
Yeah, we used, back then, wares trading meant getting, basically a package with 500 floppies in the mail.
Jesus Christ.
It's like fucking playing. Who remembers how playing UFO XCOM in the defense worked out? It was like operating a fucking punch card. I was like, I insert disk at 12, insert disk at 11.
And you know what? Still worth it.
Start a mission
Still
yet.
worth it.
Still,
yeah, and then one of the diskettes breaks down, and yeah, you find your backup copy of it somewhere.
I think the reason they actually made the game so that you can control 48 fucking soldiers at a time, and they had 50 million pockets in them, is so they could justify having the loadout of the mission on a different diskette than the actual mission. Because if I could, I would. It took me the same amount of time to deploy my fucking 8 guys in the new XCOM, and I had to exchange a floppy disk every single time I deployed, came back, and went back to that loadout menu. I would have broken my fucking screen.
God, I remember spending like 45 minutes just on equipping my guys.
Should this guy take a flamethrower? And that's if you weren't spending like the rest of your time assigning fucking janitors at the base.
Oh, fuck that shit. No, I didn't use flamethrowers. I just packed my entire dudes full of grenades.
I think you're allowed to get retro gaming cred if you play Dwarf Fortress. Then you're allowed to have some cred if you've played Dwarf Fortress.
Oh please! I played NetHack back in the days.
I
Is
can't.
NetHack older than Dwarf Fortress?
Dwarf Fortress or Forges? Make up your mind.
Dwarf Fortress.
No, let's look it up. Actually, let's settle this dispute.
What?
Because I don't think NetHack is older.
You don't know what Dwarf Fortress is, Shrek?
No, I said let's settle this dispute. I'm looking up the release dates of Dwarf Fortress and comparing it to NetHack. Of course I know what Dwarf Fortress is. What kind of a pleb are you?
You just said I'm looking it up. I'm like, what?
Alright. So, Dwarf Fortress was released actually way after XCOM, apparently. It was released on 8th of August in 2006.
Yeah, that's probably older then.
Whereas NetHack...
Speaking of, by the way,
NetHack has just about 20 years on Dwarf Fortress.
Wow.
You know, by the way, since we're on the topic of squad-based games, retro gaming, and Gamergate and SJWs, does anybody remember Gender Wars?
No,
that's new though, isn't it?
That was an actual fucking game where you were controlling a squad, like a 5 or 6 man squad with 1 lieutenant, and it was like a little gauntlet.
Didn't it come out somewhere around 95?
I don't even know. It's like
I'm looking at it now. Like it looks familiar, but I don't think I played it.
I did find a review of it.
Yeah, you could actually decide to play either as the women or the men, and both of them were like had some really fucking retardedly exaggerated cutscenes. Like the male soldiers always start off their mission with some sort of crude joke regarding beer drinking and getting wasted at a party, and chicks were always putting on makeup or something like that.
Jeez.
Oh, the microaggressions.
So did anyone actually see? Did anyone watch my video on the Zoe Quinn UN speech? Since it did get a hell of a lot of attention on KIA.
Honestly speaking, I generally tend to avoid any news regarding her these days. But humor me. What happened?
Oh, it actually.
She went up there. To put it lightly, if you didn't see the video that I did on it, she pretty much went up there and cried and bitched, saying that, you know, my harassment. And they had like the chick next to her, and someone pointed out who it was. But basically, the thing that caught me the worst was Zoe went up there. She bitched for like 10 minutes about how the internet needs to find a way to basically block trolls and stuff like that. And then as soon as Anita gets her fucking phone. And was like staring at her phone the rest of the time, playing with her damn phone while Anita was talking, like, and she was on camera and shit. And I'm like, if you don't
probably
want to be
trying
around
to
the
organize
trolls,
the next harassment wave so she would have some live evidence.
Yeah, that's exactly what she was trying to do. It looked like, but
Yeah,
I
she
mean, you
looked
just
like a
saw her
fucking
over there
bitch.
fucking with her phone.
She looked like a
What?
fucking henchman just sitting on the side. You know, like when the mastermind is making his big speech, he has like a bunch of goons around him, or like 2 bodyguards standing to the side. Yeah, she was basically being Anita's henchman.
Well, the thing was, like, afterwards, where Vice talked to her, which I also have a video on that, and where I talked about what the quotes that they had, but Zoe basically said, I don't know why you put video games in the report. I'm like, why the fuck did you bring Anita then? Because all she does is bitch about video games.
See you later, guys. I'm gonna go now, so see ya.
All right, brother.
Later, man.
Hey, before you go, can you link your channel in the side chat? Oh, he went.
Nope.
He's I'll put it. He's
Alright.
Charming Man 93. He did he's the one that did the Verillo
Do you want to say?
history sort of thing, I guess.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if you could link your channel to the side chat because I've never seen
Okay.
your work.
How? How have you not?
We will force you to
That's
shill.
unethical, you bastard. That's unethical. You shill.
Fuck
Yeah.
You Black Knight.
I'm just gonna go and troll your videos from now on.
Yeah.
Hit me with your best shot, man.
Will do.
Hang on a sec. I had a custom
And I-
link
and
as
I'm
well.
gonna-
Now
and
it's
I'm
gone.
gonna-
Best shot,
And I'm-
yeah, we'll just send John Kelly your word.
I'm going to bring in one more person, then after that I'm going to call us to a close once they're done because I've been
Alright.
going since 3 o'clock and it's 4 hours in. But I'll
There's
bring
the
in one
link.
more person who has set patiently forever, so I'll bring him in here real quick, which is when 795.
Well, if you
bring
guys
him
wanna keep
in.
shooting this shit, I can start a new one afterwards. So
Yeah, because I'm trying to, because I'm going to have to. I mean, I just want to make sure that this doesn't get fucking rated by 4chan, so y'all can do whatever you want. But I mean, I'm trying. Every time I run one of these, 4chan gets a hold of it one way or another, and then it just turns into a shit show, and I have to download it and re-upload it without them and all that BS. So.
Oh, I can easily tell you why that happens. Is because you're running it as a Google Live Hangout, whereas if you use something like Open Broadcaster and run it as a separate Hangout, you don't have to directly stream like the avatars and so forth. And whenever trolls get in, really, you're just going to be more crass than they are, and that usually takes a steam out of their worked pretty well.
But yeah, considering in what interesting times we're living now, playing Gender Wars is probably really fucking culturally relevant now, more than ever. I mean,
Well, Anita just went for the big target, so she didn't give a shit about Gender Wars.
Well, Gender Wars came out in '96, so I'm not surprised at all.
I don't think she's probably even ever heard of the damn game, probably.
You didn't hear of the damn game.
I didn't. Yeah, you're right. I didn't because I wasn't a PC gamer back then.
Yeah, it was. That was my side. Fuck you. I'm a PC gamer, motherfucker.
So you used to be a peasant? Is that what you're saying?
I used
I was
to
a
be
console
fucking
peasant.
I used to be a fucking ZX Spectrum kid. Get on my level.
Yeah, I kept on hearing about the ZX Spectrum on Morn Blade show with Dave Sex, who always talked about his ZX Spectrum and different games and shit for it.
If you want to go old school, don't make me pull out my Amstrad.
Yeah.
You still got your.
damn!
Yeah, that shit's in the fucking computer museum now.
Does it work?
No. I have actually been pondering of trying to buy one on eBay these days. I mean, they're going pretty cheap. Nobody wants them. I still have some of the original game discs, include they were the weirdest floppies. Like they had actually a 0.5 millimeter steel plate in the discs.
Damn.
Like they were the most solid discs I have ever seen in terms of computer discs.
I'm still convinced that the original floppy disks, the ones that were actually floppy, were probably one of the more resilient data storage.
Have a look. That was
you could fold that shit and it would work still.
Check it out. These were the discs I'm talking about. You can actually see the steel plating, and that went all the way around.
Ooh,
I wonder, was the MSX and MSX2, were they popular where you were?
Not really.
Yeah, because that was my first computer.
That was
and
mainly
we didn't
Japan
really get a
thing,
lot
I
of
think.
those in here.
most of the German and Polish gaming was rolling around the Commodore because the Commodore was, the gaming company choice of the people.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get much traffic of the Commodore here, which is kind of sad.
This is what gaming looked like on my machine back then.
Damn, this is cool.
Fuck you, you Borgoese cunt. You actually had color.
No!
It's all green.
What? Are you blind?
It's fucking green, but
bright green. That was it.
My fucking Apple II had black and fucking white. That was it when it came
We
to
had
color.
black and fucking green. We didn't even get white.
White privilege.
Yeah, check your white privilege, man.
White privilege.
Kind of looks like
That
you're
brings
playing
white privilege to a all new meaning.
I have no clue what I'm doing.
It's because you have the color white.
Also, apparently, since we're talking about gender wars, so did that have like 84 pages worth of factions in there?
What?
Oh no, you're not going there, Shrek.
Oh,
You're
you're
not
not
going there.
going there.
You're not going there.
Not even people that lived in the age where the common business attitude around the gaming studio was being stoned only half of the time while you're working. Not even those people could come up with this shit.
To put things a little bit in context, recently we found a list of basically genders that are recognized on Tumblr. It was 84 pages long.
84 pages in default 10 size font.
It included genders for fire, hyperspace, and a Schrodinger's gender that is only present as long as you don't look at it.
And
Wait,
to
what?
illustrate
Yes.
To illustrate our attempt to get through all of these genders, I will now demonstrate it with the visual representation of me trying to eat my shoulder.
Science.
Honestly, you can think I'm making this shit up. I can link you that crap. You don't want me to, but I can.
By the way, this is a 10-minute warning. Once 10 minutes is up, I'm just gonna shut this down so I can work on it a bit outside of this. But y'all can do another stream or whatever. But I'm gonna shut this off in about 10 minutes.
All right.
Well, if you guys want, I can host one. But...
Yes, Carlos, I had an apple that was basically stolen from across the fucking border. Apples were banned in this country, okay?
I'm just gonna toss this link into the side chat. Use at your own, no danger, okay?
Oh God, no.
If you click on that, you're responsible for it yourself, and I will not be held liable for any mental damage you take from it.
I'm already damaged. Don't worry.
You didn't go there.
He's linking to Zoe Quinn's nudes. Everybody run!
No, actually, those were less damaging to sanity.
By the way, Shrek, you said that the internet was over earlier. If you want to go with topics. TPT, was it?
Oh, well, the internet was over. The internet as we know it might be facing serious issues if the whole TPP thing goes through, which I still hope it doesn't.
Wait, last time you said it went through, mate, when I was talking to you.
No. See, what happened is they agreed on the terms of the contract, but it still has to go through Congress in the U.S., Canada, and so forth. And at the moment, since pretty much everywhere on this planet that is affected, people are revolting against it, now there are certain politicians of, profile that have made it their platform to oppose it.
Unfortunately, my country is probably going to pass it.
I feel sorry for you.
In the northern UK.
Yeah. I mean, I bet my countries here. Like I'm originally from Saudi Arabia, but now I live in Dubai, and I bet those countries would love something like that.
Shrek, why are there boxes with fucking weird ass colors and shapes in them under
The flags. Each gender has a flag.
Yes.
This one looks like some kid went apeshit in paint.
This is the extended version. This contains a pride flag for every single one of the genders that you've seen before, plus some additional genders.
A gender fluid, the cancer gender. Yes, there is a lot of cancer here right now, indeed.
Cancer is not even on this level, bro.
I came and look at this without having my eyes hurting.
Yeah, it did look like somebody went that shit on paint.
Well, today my gender is determined by the music.
That actually is in there.
I know. I'm just looking at it.
What do you think about Saudi Arabia heading to the UN Commission for Human Rights, though?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even. That sounds like an encyclopedia. That sounds like a 4chan post, but I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's legit.
If you remember, Johnny, like when you first, like, I met you on the stream about the UN, and that was the thing I said. Like, this is the most ridiculous thing ever.
I know, and then if anyone thought it was any validity, look at. I was like, well, that's interesting.
There's gender for celestial.
On that note, send gender. When your gender changes between one gender and its opposite, or a gender that can be summed up in an undefinable thing, but benefits hundreds of different genders or none at all at any given time at the same time and or separately fluid and ever changing, I've gone cross-eyed.
No, the best part of this is there's actually a gender in there that is primarily defined by inventing new genders.
I think my left lobe died.
And I'm actually
not making
3 max.
Johnny, I'm not actually just making this up. There is actually a gender in this list that is defined by the fact that it cannot be defined.
No, there's more than one. There's at least 5 of those.
So we got one that's a gender affected by mood swings, having no gender or lack of a gender identity.
There's one that's based off flashbacks.
Yeah, but when I said that, that wasn't the weird part. The hilarious part was the fact that it was listed at least 5 different fucking times in that list.
No, there were 5 different ones that all make the same claim.
Yes, if there were 5 different genders that are defined by the fact that they cannot be defined.
Yes.
Oh my God! Why?
Chaos gender. Oh boy.
Why, God? Why? That's all I could say to this.
We had a couple of good years. Now humanity is doomed.
This whole list, I just found the gender of this entire list. Chaos gender. When your gender does a lot of things that make no sense. Done.
Oh, no, my favorite, this one's a pixel gender. Experiencing 2 genders with one as the smallest addressable element in an overall gender experience.
So pixels are now a definition of a
full
gender.
Macintosh gender, because that's what it sounds like.
Prox vary. Masculine gender, similar to boy, but on a separate plane and off to itself.
So it's basically,
I know I'm going to sound like an old fuck, but back in my day, gender was separated by if you had a dick or not. I mean, that was it.
So basically, it's masculinity, but slightly to the left?
I don't know.
It's masculinity. It just wants to be edgy.
I'm not going to try to analyze this. I'm not going to try to think about it because it's going to hurt my brain.
This is as bad as trans-disabled.
It's trans-abled, get it right.
Shut up, shitlord, I'm mentally disabled. I do what I want.
Freaking digigender? What the hell is this?
It's when you identify as a Digimon. Oh no, wait.
No, it's when you're based off an MP3 file.
Let's see. It can range from anything digital from a file, virus, MP3, text, etc. of the Tech King. Okay, I'm fucking done.
No. I can top this. Arithma gender, a number gender. It can range from any numbers, positive, negative, decimals, fractions, and so forth.
Imaginary numbers, for example?
But that gender's sexist because women can't do maths.
That gender, bi gender, what the hell is that? I don't understand. I don't know. This has to be a fucking joke.
I wish it was. You know,
this is Tumblr.
This was a parody until I found its source on Tumblr.
Oh, well, Fucking Tumblr.
This hurts my
Then I
Asperger's.
Like, whenever somebody is going to tell me about gender being a social construct, I'm just going to link them this list.
They just go cross-eyed just trying to read all this BS.
I can't go cross-eye. I have one lazy eye. Oh wait, not
Honestly
lazy.
speaking, I think this counts as information warfare.
Yeah, it's meant to melt people's brains down.
You know, I at least can say that I did lighten Sargon up when I did start yelling at John Kelly. At least laughed at that. Because I mean, I was getting sick of hearing that shit, and I was just like, I finally started yelling at him. Next thing you know, Sargon starts cracking up. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not trying to be funny, damn it! I'm trying to yell at this fucker.
I originally came for the Sargon and stayed for the rest.
No, I was in another
that's what
hangout,
I'm saying.
and I was going to link
to
it.
cut it off because we got 35 people here, but shit, it has to end at some point.
No, the fun never ends on this ride.
Yeah.
Max, you
It has
nailed
to
it
end
here.
and be
Basically,
restored. Well,
Max, you nailed it. Basically, this entire thing here is an exercise in how to be the most unique special snowflake.
Oh, jeez.
I'm Ginger.
does anyone watch Undoomed at all?
Oh.
I don't even know what that is.
He's the guy with like the suit with like the faceless head or whatever, and he's always talking about the special snowflakes and stuff, and it sounds like he's almost like a horror movie villain talking to special snowflakes.
Oh Jesus!
It's really fucking creepy, but it's funny at the same time.
God, why?
Oh, but yeah, I mean, honestly, I just noticed that there was a nice show going on here, so that's why I even noticed the channel. The SmackDown was too epic to ignore.
I play SmackDown great.
That's probably gonna be a meme in and of itself. You're gonna see like my fucking like the Fox avatar and John Kelly's avatar and a bunch of people making memes of "you're fired" at him.
Where is the paint? I can't find paint. I'm a terrible person.
I can't look at this anymore. It's just killing me. Slowly, but
I might actually clip out that clip of me screaming "you're fired" at him, just so people can use that on different shit.
Ah.
We actually went through a stream where we went through each and every one definition. It was freaking painful.
I hate to ask this, but I'm looking at the chat. Somebody said cancer kin. Is it a thing in this? Because I just stopped looking at this.
Control F.
Hold on, let me check.
I can't seem to find it.
Well, it depends. Are we talking about like the sea creature or the organism? Like
I can see gender.
Either.
Well, there's zodiac gender.
Zodiac.
Ya la madre puñeta.
Let's see. There is cancer gender.
Yeah, a gender as base gender, but experiences fluid flux in gender feelings in tandem with their emotions. The gender's feeling may confuse or upset the individual and cause their emotional state to go haywire, which causes more gender changes, also known as gender fluid.
Oh, fuck, man.
Oh, there's even better. Cane is gender, a small dog-like gender.
How is a gender like a dog?
I don't know.
They also have one for cats, just to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be inclusive. Oh.
Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up now. Since
This
we're,
is not even Zinch
about
levels.
4 hours in. So if y'all want to start the new stream or whatever on a different spot, I'll tweet it out so people can see it.
Alright, if you want, I can shut one up. Give me a moment.
Thanks for everybody for coming on. I really appreciate it. I just really need to get this thing below 6 hours.
Yeah, that's fine. Nice talking to you again.
No
Nice
offense,
talking to you guys. Nice
because, you know, we used to do streams of 72 plus hours.
I can't do that, man. I can't sit here that long.
Oh, we partially fell asleep in the middle of it, but we still went going. Like, you know.
How would you fall asleep during the epic moment of John. That's his name.
Let me put it like that. You
That's
can
probably what
use
everybody's
that
gonna
kind of
come and
shit.
watches that part, then just drop off after. But whatever, I mean, it's gonna be up on the channel regardless. Right after this is over.
Yee. Time to hit the subscribe button.
Alright.
And me and Sargon are eventually going to do a legitimate one, because this was supposed to be the one where me and him finally talk after all this time of, me watching the shit and all that stuff, and we're supposed to finally talk, but of course you saw what happened. But I think everybody was genuinely entertained just by watching John Kelly get his ass whooped, basically.
Implying he's gonna
everything.
crash again.
That was epic schooling, man. That was epic schooling. I've never
So I
seen
mean,
anything
it was
like
worth the episode was worth it, but I'm still gonna get my, me and Sargon just to talk about whatever episode later on.
All right.
So that'll be fun. I'll still do shit like this, but I really need to get it out. I need to go ahead and end this one and move on.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
All right, everybody.
I'll drop the link in
Hit the
here.
subscribe button.
I
All right,
did.
later.
That's the new one. I'll see you over there.